And if I get an electric car, I'll save the refugees or some crap like that.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, September 3rd, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 753.
This is No Agenda.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Broadcasting live from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I await the climate change migrants, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Are they coming?
You know, the UN has sent out a memo. It hasn't been publicized much. Telling reporters to stop using the word migrant.
Oh, is that an official memo?
Yeah, an official memo.
And are they saying use the word refugee finally?
Yes.
Well, that's good. Did Angelina Jolie send this out?
No.
I'm missing her in all of this. Isn't she the high priestess of refugees?
I think she's having a complete blood transfusion. I think it takes a while.
It's Switzerland.
In Switzerland. It's sheep's udders or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we got plenty to talk about on the migrant thing. But first, happy birthday to me.
Well, that's an interesting way to start the show. But yes, happy birthday to you.
The reason why I start the show that way is because Google...
Big 5-1.
Yeah. And you know what? Like clockwork, 2 days ago, my eyes start to go crappier. I'm not kidding. So I'm nearsighted. So I always need my glasses to see anything further than, about 1.5 foot if I want to read. And now all of a sudden, the close-up stuff is all fuzzy.
Well, you begin to get farsighted as you get older.
But
the irony of the whole thing.
Well, what's happening now, though, is, maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little more. Yeah, so I'm a little more farsighted. Really?
Yeah.
So I have to go.
I'm to the point where I don't even wear glasses anymore.
Don't tell me. Okay, good prospects to look forward to.
Here's the funny thing. I actually have the original license. I think this happened about maybe around I think I was a little older than you. But I was getting the vision was getting farsighted. Just it naturally, the eyeball just ossifies or something, and it starts to do a certain thing. Which, if you're nearsighted when you're young, you become farsighted. If you're farsighted when you're young, you're screwed. You wear those big Coke bottle things.
Yeah, I'm going to wear those big,
and people that are real farsighted, especially when they're older, they wear these Coke bottle glasses, and they have like the lenses that makes their eyeballs look huge because they're magnifying glasses.
Yeah, luckily I don't have that.
No, you're nearsighted, so your eyeballs look small in glasses.
But now I need bifocals.
No, here's a couple. I'll give you some hints.
Okay. Wait a minute. Aging hints with John C. Dvorak. Hold on. Let's do it properly. Aging hints with John C. Dvorak.
So one of the things is you start to go farsighted. At one point, you get to the point where your vision's good enough to go into the DMV and get tested without your glasses. You don't have to wear glasses. So my driver's license doesn't have that little check mark anymore.
Growing older tips with John C. Dvorak. Very nice.
I had another tip, but I forgot what it was.
Hey, it's also a new month, John. Yes. Which, of course, is very important. Turns out September is a bonanza for presidential proclamations.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. We have, by presidential proclamation, September is National Wilderness Month. Of course, just in time for the president to go rename a mountain.
Go out in the woods.
Yeah, go out in the woods. Do you know there's a change or a, what is it called? What is that on the White House? The White House website, they have, hold on, let me find it. I have it here. It was pretty funny. It's the We the People petition. We can start a petition if you get 10,000 or 100,000 signatures, then, they do nothing.
Yeah, I know. It's a scam.
So there's a new one that's been put up. And, the president is now with Bear Grylls in Alaska.
Oh, yeah, having the time of his life.
Yeah, so the We the People petition. We the people, we petition the Obama administration to make President Obama drink his own urine while filming Running Wild with Bear Grylls in Alaska.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I like that.
It's like, who comes up with these ideas? Well, there was a cut number of stories.
Wait, before do you want me to do the rest of presidential proclamation?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I just...
Yeah.
Before you went off the track yourself.
Well, it's because of... you're right. It is also Very happy to hear. National Alcohol and Drug Addiction Recovery Month.
Aha.
So we should all recover.
That makes sense. That brings a clip in.
Okay, I'm ready for you. What you got?
Because I was wondering why this clip ran.
Okay.
No, I was until you just said that. This is the clip. Talk about alcohol.
Okie dokie.
Odd NBC report.
There's a warning out tonight for parents that you should talk to your kids about the dangers of alcohol as early as age 9. That's the new guidance from the American Academy of Pediatrics, citing surveys that show kids begin to think positively about alcohol between ages 9 and 13. And 21% of kids admit trying alcohol before the age of 13.
Well, yeah, so of course it's right in line with National Alcohol and Drug Addiction Recovery Month.
I'm telling you, I'm doing this, my 3x3.
Yes, 3x3, everybody.
3x3.
Three networks, 3 weeks.
And I'm mapping the stories so I can see what. So I'm going to have. It was not going to take me more than a week to figure this out. What network wants who to win and all the rest. It's very easy to deconstruct.
Right.
But there's these stories that come in out of the blue. Nobody else runs them, and it's like, why are they running this story? Boom! You gave me my answer.
And it's also, it's not that hard to understand why children start becoming interested in alcohol between the ages of 9 and 13, because that's when, you're into puberty and you want to get laid, and every single ad you see for alcohol is getting laid.
Well, there's a lot of partying going on, that's for sure.
There you go. Presidential proclamation also declares September National Childhood Cancer Awareness
I don't really
Month.
know how many 9-year-olds want to get laid.
Oh, John, you need to talk to your millennials, man. These kids are starting early, and it's all blowjobs because that's not sex.
Oh, that's thanks to Clinton.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Prez.
It is. It's thanks to Clinton.
I'm all in. It is also, by presidential proclamation, National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. So, if you know some kid who's fat from chemo, think of him or her. It is Prepper Month.
What?
Yeah. Well, National Preparedness Month, actually.
Oh.
And then finally, also by presidential proclamation, it is National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm just becoming aware of my prostate. Hold on.
Yeah, sure you are.
Come on. Give me a little bit there. And back after quite a long absence, I'm very pleased to bring you...
It's another installment of Dinner with the Obots.
Yes, Dinner with the Obots, the Obama
Is
bot
that a
dinner.
national proclamation?
Yes, you didn't hear about this?
Strange segue.
Yes, had dinner with the new Obot group here in Austin, John. I feel
yes, everybody's been on pins and needles.
I know. Everyone's so excited. Different composition, of course. The Brain Professor is with his interior decorating, designing wife. They moved off to California, so
yes.
They're out of the club.
Turned on you.
Yes, they're no longer in the circle of trust. They turned on me. Yeah, he did turn on me. He turned on me. So we replaced them with...
Replaced them. They got replaced.
So this is my friend and artist and head Obama bot, Lori.
Yes, Lori the Obama bot.
Yeah, Lori the Obama bot with her husband Mark, who he's just quiet. He's not really an Obama bot, but he's just quiet. Mark's actually the best guy at these dinners because he doesn't drink. So you can always see there's always someone to say, well, here's how it really went down, because everyone gets kind of hammered. And then he can always provide us with the transcript of how it really happened. So we replaced the professor and Marianne with Dave Stewart.
The singer?
Not the singer. Stuart. Dave Stewart, a professor at UT Austin. At age 18, he received the MacArthur Fellowship Award.
The MacArthur Foundation grant?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's like $1 million.
Yeah, he's the guy who decoded the Mayan.
The Mayan guy, right?
Yeah,
right.
He's the Mayan guy. Very famous guy.
Yeah, no, you should have gotten his autograph.
Who
have him do it in Mayan.
No, here's what I did. I said, "Hey, man, speak some Mayan to me." And he had his lovely wife, Carolyn, there. And And she is also an artist by trade, but somehow she became the director of development, which means she gets the money. She's she's the one who pounds the payment and gets the funding for the McDonald Observatory out there near Marfa, the big telescope. This is where you go. Oh, cool. Yeah. And of course, I said, hey, do you think, without even finishing my sentence, she said, absolutely. Anytime you want to get on that telescope, you let me know. Done.
What's the size of it? The one you look, and this is one you can look through. This is a. I have to look it up.
I think I want to say it's.
I've been to the Mount Wilson one and looked through that.
It's definitely pretty big. I think I want to say is it. But 10?
That's okay.
Is it 10 meters? No, that seems
10
too
meters.
Big. That seems too big. Well,
what's this? McDonald? What's the name of it?
McDonald Observatory.
Where is it located?
In Fort Davis, Texas.
Fort Davis.
But it's but just she said if you want you can stay in the scientist lodging. Like, no, that's okay. I'll just stay in my Airstream. That's fine. I don't need to do that. Let me see if it says.
Well, that's right. You got an Airstream and take up to the scope.
Exactly. Driving the stream to the scope, baby. Exactly. But more importantly, John, I think more importantly, she is also the director of development for the GMT. Yeah,
the Greenwich Mean Time?
No.
Holy crap, she's behind that?
No. It's 1.2 meters. No. All right, you keep on looking at the telescope. They got a couple of telescopes.
Move on. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Okay. She's also the director of development for the GMT, which is the Giant Magellan Telescope, which will be completed and deployed in 2021 in Chile. This is a 29-meter telescope, the largest ground-based telescope of its time, of its kind, I should say, will be 10 times more powerful than the Hubble. And get this. So, I lay my usual crap on her, right? I'm like, oh, so we can really, look at the flag on the moon? And he said, because, I was like, I know about the moon bases and, the elevators and all that. But, the first land, that wasn't real. That's all bogus. She said, and here's what she said to me. And I'm very confused by this because I can't really find any reference to it. She says, Adam, I'll do you one better. You come to the opening, you come to Chile, and I will have them focus the Giant Magellan Telescope on a dime that Neil Armstrong apparently left on the moon.
That thing's that powerful?
That's what she says. But more importantly, I can't.
This isn't a direct view telescope.
I think
no,
it is.
There's no way. It comes up as on a video screen or something.
This I don't know. Oh, so they can still fake me out with a splice in the cable?
Just run a tape.
But I didn't even know about this dime on the moon. Had you ever heard of that?
No, I've never heard about the dime on the moon.
And then I said, oh, yeah.
It's only on No Agenda.
Yeah. Go ahead, search for it. I had never heard of this.
You couldn't find it?
I couldn't find it after a couple of searches. No, there's lots of dime references, but not to it. Dime bag that we're smoking in the capsule.
Okay, but you guys ready? Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Which one are we going to use? Oh, you're going to use the dime on the moon gag? Yeah. I got the tape right here. Okay. You think he's going to believe this bullshit?
Yeah, of course.
I'll put $10 that he buys it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she promised, so I got to believe her.
She's obviously a sorority girl.
No. Why do you say?
It is. They always like them. The mean sorority girls are always playing jokes on the boys.
She's a mean girl. Okay, I got you.
Mean sorority girl.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess.
Anyway, but I was kind of excited by that, and they were really nice. I don't even know if Carolyn and Dave are Obama bots, but we also had Margot Sawyer, I think her last name. She's an artist, also teaches, and she's British. She's sorry.
Yes, right.
Yes, and I think she's been at previous Obama bot dinners, at a certain point, lawyer goes, okay, well, kind of like, hey, Adam, cue Adam. Why don't you say some wacky shit? That's exactly what it was. Okay.
Here comes the monkey boy. Dance, monkey boy, dance.
Monkey boy, dance. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, and yeah, fine, all right, so of course, it quickly turns to how great President Obama has been. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The Middle East is in flames. We have refugees, rolling throughout all of the EU.
Haven't closed Gitmo.
Haven't closed Gitmo. The economy is crap. And then, but we have millions of people with health insurance. I said, yeah. What's your health insurance premium? Did it go up? Yeah, but we had fine. But how about everybody in Texas? Everybody in Texas have health insurance? No. They said, and then it kind of somehow it morphed over to Donald Trump. God bless Mark. He said, oh yeah, but Trump wants single payer. I said, yeah, that's what it should have been. That's a decent idea. And then she said, well, but the Republicans, they're all no good. And Bill Clinton left us with all this money. We had this huge surplus. I said, yeah.
A bunch of cliches.
I know. I said, yeah. Also Glass-Steagall, which created the entire crisis. He dismantled that. Oh, let's not forget the cruise missiles we shot at Serbia, killing everybody. Yeah, great. Oh, not to mention blowjobs are now okay for children between 9 and 13. I didn't say that, but I should have if I thought about it. And then I was like, and then she says, well, so you're telling me that NPR is just selling me a bunch of crap? And I said, yeah. And her eyes went.
Oh, geez. There was just to kind of go not off the tracks.
Well, let me end the segment.
It's another installment of Dinner with the Oba.
I didn't want this segment to end. I thought there was more.
Oh, but
I just wanted to mention the cake that the ombudsman for PBS has gone after Gwen Eiffel finally.
Oh, do tell.
Very good story. She's apparently one of those careless tweeters. Twitterers. Mm-hmm. And so she puts, there's some tweet about the Iranian deal going through. And so she retweets it and says, take that, Bibi.
That's what Glenn Eiffel?
Yes.
Glenn Eiffel?
And so apparently this caused an uproar because she's not supposed to be, this is very biased.
Do you think she was drunk tweeting or?
She might drunk tweet. It's possible. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that tweet that are in positions where by the way, I'm just might as well say this. There's a little side project of mine. Mm-hmm. I have isolated a number of journalists that are supposed to be these objective journalists and all the rest. And they all have Twitter accounts. Uh-huh. And so I go in the tweeters and I have been documenting their obvious biases.
Okay.
They're very obvious with them.
Oh, is this based upon someone calling us biased incorrectly on the emails?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right, good.
I don't care what people say.
I know.
Anyway, no, I just found it's abhorrent is the reason. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think of tracking Gwen. So this, I guess, triggered the ombudsman to look into her tweets. And she's all, she's just another Obama bot. She's embarrassing the company, apparently.
Well, we know that she is a hagiographer and wrote the hagiography on the president.
Yes.
So, yeah, we know but to say, take that, Bibi, really? That doesn't seem like a very professional. That seems like a drunk tweet to me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, it could be. But still, she's one of those people. I mean, there's a number of football players where the coach takes their Twitter account away. They say, no, you cannot have this or you're going to go to someone.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because these guys are loudmouths and they're, doing stuff that just gets the other team antagonized. It's just not good. No. Some people should not be tweeting.
Yeah.
And apparently Gwen Eiffel's one of them. It was the funniest thing ever. Anyway.
Cool.
So that's it with the Obama bots? That's too bad.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Tina was there, so she was backing me up. It was good.
Oh, Tina was back, and then nobody, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was a little more sedate than usual.
But, it was a first-time go. I think we kind of ease into it. I got to get to know Dave. Dave who looks uncannily a lot like... what's it, Paul Giamatti? Is that his name, the actor?
Yeah.
He looks just like a kind of a...
Did you ask him if he wanted some Merlot?
No, I don't want to
That's what I do.
This isn't actually...
Well, I've seen you before. You like Merlot.
This is a famous professor. I want to ease in slowly with this guy. He could take us places. He could be he could wheelbarrow us into all kinds of cool places.
Yeah, Guatemala.
Chile.
They're killing it. You should ask them about all the murdering of the Mayans that are going on right now.
Yeah. But it's like having dinner with the comedian for the first time and saying, "Tell me a joke," or like Ben Carson, like, "Hey, can you do an abortion for me?" It's like, you don't do that. Like, hey,
Is that right? You don't do that?
No,
I do.
Not off the bat. No, that's not fun. No, that's not.
No wonder I don't get invited back.
Exactly.
Well, I think the telescope is good news. So they go up to the one.
Well, it's going to be great to use the McDonald Observatory telescope and then to actually see the dime on the moon. I can't wait.
Dime on the moon.
I can't wait.
Was he digging through his pockets while he was up there and a dime fell out?
No, apparently he left it there as proof. The flags, and we can't see the flags, but we can show you those mirrors.
But there's a dime up there, sure.
And she also said that
that's proof.
She also said that I said, well, I've seen the trick with the mirrors, where you shoot a laser and it comes back, and it's on a computer monitor, you see a little blip, and everyone at Mythbusters is all excited. She says, "Oh no, they're real. They're called corner cubes, and they're like little Rubik's cubes, and we use them to align the telescope every night." I said, "Great, I want to see that too." So that I can see, this year at the McDonald Observatory.
Well, they need stuff to align the telescopes.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, it's science, baby.
Well, you should get to. You went to see Saturn.
I've seen Saturn and her moons. It's beautiful.
What did you look through to see Saturn?
That was at that star party. Do you remember? It was the Austin Astrological Society was there, and the guy with the homemade telescope made out of PVC pipe. It was beautiful. Anyway.
All right, onward.
Oh, yes, indeed. There's a lot to talk about. A lot. Where do you want to start?
Well, you can go anywhere. I got clips to back pretty much anything up.
Okay, well, I know you don't like starting with climate change stuff off the bat.
Well, if you want to do that, I can. Let me make an assertion about the three networks.
3x3?
The 3x3 thing.
Mm-hmm.
There is climate change propaganda and very little of it on ABC.
Okay.
Quite a bit, or not. There's a moderate amount on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
NBC, all in. In fact, NBC is the one who gave me the
well, of course, they're the guys who owned by GE. Does GE still own part of them?
They still have a piece of the action, yes.
Yeah, so they build all kinds of stuff like gas turbines, all the stuff that you need to combat climate change. So why wouldn't they?
So let's take a look at one of the big problems going on. This is this clip is America's first climate change refugees.
And this will be clip
on NBC.
Ooh, okay.
Which means,
welcome to our land.
But his land is changing fast as temperatures warm twice as rapidly here as the rest of the planet. NBC News has spent the past 4 months reporting throughout America's vast Arctic, a place of tradition and dramatic change. Nowhere are the problems more urgent than in Shishmaref, which scientists say is just one bad storm away from being wiped off the map. The ice that once protected their fragile shoreline from big fall storms is melting, and now they're losing as much as 20 feet a year to erosion.
The ocean comes in pretty good. The water comes up pretty high.
And because they're so isolated here, it's not just homes, but 600 lives that are at stake.
What are we going to do if we get a major flood? I'd say we'd have to move.
These people are about to become some of America's first climate change refugees.
It's just totally gone. Yep. They're telling their older children they don't want them to go hunting on the ice because it's too dangerous and they don't want to lose them.
Cheryl Rosa is here to listen to them and report back to the White House. A decade ago, the locals voted to move to this higher ground, 12 miles away, but discovered that, like the ice, the permafrost, that is the ground, is melting too.
It's not easy to move a village.
It's not cheap either. $180 million, according to the Army Corps of Engineers. That's $300,000 per person. And moving even a few miles means cutting ties with ancestral lands that have sustained them and kept their traditions alive for centuries. Clifford Wiawana says even if they had the money to move, he worries his people cannot survive anywhere else.
Gotta have access to the ocean.
You know, I realize that you're doing this 3x3. We have some overlap in clips because of course, I also had this. But I cut it down. And I also have the fish one, so I'm just going to let you roll with all of that.
Well, I got a variations on the fish one. I thought were
I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear your variation.
Well, let me finish this off first with a couple of comments. All one is this town is a wreck.
Which town is it exactly?
Okmulgee. I can't. You can play it. I can't say it.
Is
twice.
that near Tuktoyaktuk or Inuvik?
It's around there somewhere.
I've been there.
Okay, well, anyway, they show a bunch of these derelict. It's like you can do this anywhere, by the way, and any American knows this that's been outside of a big city. You can go to any place, anywhere, and you'll find a barn that's falling down.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, and they're very picturesque. Well, there's a bunch of them in this town in Alaska up at the Arctic Circle, and so they shoot it as though this is like, it's the weather, it's the climate change causing these barns to erode and fall apart and fall over.
Yeah.
And then they go on with this $300,000 a person to move these guys. So a family of four costs $1.2 million somehow. I don't know what it costs to build a house up there, but if you look at these houses that they're living in, it can't be a lot.
Just get them all on Airstream. It's much cheaper.
This whole thing is just nonsense. But play the second part of this so at least you can get a couple, because they did the same thing. NBC did the same thing that they do when they go to Texas or any place of South Alabama or Georgia. They find the dumbest sounding people they can find and interview them, and the guys can barely speak. And
we have an example of that coming up later in the show.
I'm sure. But let's finish this off so we can get the whole thing.
And his family rely on the caribou, walrus, and especially the bearded seal.
They're about 700 pounds. We try to get at least 2 apiece. That'll be just enough for our families and relatives.
Cash is hard to come by, and in the grocery store, cereal is over $6. Sugar costs $9, 3 times what most of us pay.
Climate change.
But that's nothing compared to the human cost of staying.
They have to move. It's bad enough in New York when you have a superstorm, or New Orleans, but at least help is right there. Up in the Arctic, help is hundreds of miles away. If they get trapped in a terrible storm, they could all perish.
30 other Alaskan villages face the same peril as Shishmaref. Scientists say if the oceans continue to rise, it won't just be an Arctic problem, but one for the rest of us, too. Cynthia McFadden, NBC News, Kotzebue, Alaska.
Hold on a second. We should stop right now and let me do a check.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on. You know how it works, John. You know how it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the John C. Dvorak Global Warming Climate Check.
Okay, I'm going to go look. I'm looking at the window and see if the oceans have been rising and inundated the mudflats. Actually, it looks like they've been receding. The mudflats are there bigger than ever. That hasn't happened.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know. There must be somewhere. Maybe these things, it takes a while to get into the equilibrium, to get these mudflats.
Did you see the president's show while he was up there in Alaska?
I saw only the first episode.
I took the liberty of taking a few clips of just how dire it really is. I mean, I had no idea, John. We are so incredibly screwed up there in Alaska. The president did about 30 minutes by himself, stand up, and was all just this. I mean, I tried to pick a few bits out that are representative of what he said, but it was a half hour of this.
Since 1979, the summer sea ice in the Arctic has decreased by more than 40%, a decrease that has dramatically accelerated over the past 2 decades. One new study estimates that Alaska's glaciers alone lose about 75 gigatons. That's 75 billion tons of ice each year. To put that in perspective, one scientist described a gigaton of ice as a block the size of the National Mall in Washington.
This is probably the stupidest comparison you compare. No, if you ask people on the street, they won't even know what the National Mall is in Washington.
And Is it just flat? Is it 1 inch deep?
Oh no. He actually he'll put some context to that. But you should say it's as large as like the what is that Star Trek warrior ship they keep showing everywhere?
I don't know.
The triangle thing. Choose something like that. People understand that.
From
Empire State Building.
Nah.
All the way to the Lincoln Memorial. 4 times as tall as the Washington Monument.
There you go.
Now imagine 75 of those ice blocks.
Woo-hoo!
That's what Alaska's glaciers alone lose each year. The pace of melting is only getting faster. It's now twice what it was between 1950 and 2000. Twice as fast as it was just a little over a decade ago. And it's one of the reasons why sea levels rose by about 8 inches over the last century.
8 inches?
And why are they projected to...
Sea level rose 8 inches, but only near Alaska, nowhere else. The sea is lopsided, you say. It's lopsided.
Well,
it just slopes up.
But
it slopes
equalizes
up.
someday.
Rise another 1 to 4 feet this century.
1 to 4 feet.
What is this guy insane?
Yeah, wait until you hear this next bit. It gets worse.
If we were to abandon our course of action, if we stop trying to build a clean energy economy and reduce carbon pollution, if we do nothing to keep glaciers from melting faster and oceans from rising faster and forests from burning faster and storms from growing stronger, we will condemn our children to a planet beyond their capacity to repair. Submerged countries, abandoned cities, fields no longer growing. Indigenous peoples who can't carry out...
Wait, submerged countries.
Traditions that stretch back...
Did you just go to see Waterworld last week?
Schlitterbahn.
Yeah. Entire industries of people who can't...
He's crying here. Listen to this. He's choking up over entire industries.
Stretch back millennia. Entire industries of people who can't practice their livelihoods.
Like podcasting. We won't be able to podcast.
Desperate refugees seeking the sanctuary of nations not their own. Political disruptions that could trigger multiple conflicts around the globe. That's not a future of strong economic growth.
Please think of the children.
Isn't that dynamite?
Okay, stop.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Clip of the day.
Oh, you are just too kind, my friend. Too kind. I, of course, will
if
gladly
you hit the button, it'll help.
Yeah.
Clip of the day.
Thank you. Although it's hard to do that at the start of the show. A clip of the day.
Well, it happens a lot.
But I like the submerged countries.
Submerged countries. This is a good one. Now, this freeway that I can see from up here is at sea level. It runs over by the mud flats.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this 4 feet of water to come wafting over and maybe flood the freeway.
You should have 8 inches already.
It should be. Yeah, it should be flooded. I don't know why it's even a mud flat. It doesn't make sense.
Now, before you do your 3x3 on the fish story, which I have the raw footage and something I noticed in that, so I'll play that after if appropriate. But at the same time this is going on, we have Chinese ships coming near the Arctic in the Bering Sea. We have Russia, of course, we know already planted a flag supposedly at the bottom of the Arctic, claiming it their own. So the president's like, well, hold on a second. We got to do something up here because, I promised Shell they could drill up there, which he did.
In 2007, the Pentagon took note when Russia planted its flag under the North Pole for the first time. Russian President Vladimir Putin clearly is trying to flex his muscles in the Arctic North, where Russia would like to.
By the way, while they're saying this flex his muscles, and they're showing Putin and Medvedev in the gym. I'm sure you saw the video, working out, pumping iron.
To establish a new Suez Canal, which it controls. The Kremlin released this machismo video of Putin working out with his prime minister yesterday. Another insight into the Russian leader's psyche. Heather.
Flex his muscles. That's a good one, Jennifer. What is the U.S. doing to catch up militarily?
Well, today the president is making a trip to Alaska, the first trip by a U.S. president north of the Arctic Circle to draw attention to global warming. He announced he will speed up the acquisition of coveted icebreakers. What's shocking to many here at the Pentagon is the U.S. Navy has no functioning icebreakers and relies on just 2 aging Coast Guard icebreakers. Russia operates 41 with plans to build 11 more. Even China is getting into the game, knowing oil and gas lies under the Arctic. Meanwhile, the U.S. Army plans to pull 3,000 troops out of Alaska. Some say poor timing as the U.S. plays catch-up in the Arctic.
So the question here is, if everything is accelerating at twice the speed, if we're losing, what was it? How many gigatons?
Tons. Gigatons.
No, gigatons of ice why do we need icebreakers?
You can take a canoe.
Just roll up there, roll right on through.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any ice up there at all from the way I hear it. Everyone tells us there's no ice left.
So we need icebreakers. Very strange.
Doesn't make sense.
Just a little thing in there which I found interesting. That
why are the Russians building 11 more? They've already got 41.
So the Russians, they're building the new... did the report say they were part of the new Suez Canal?
I didn't hear that.
Let me just... Because that is...
I'm going to mention something, by the way. This icebreaker meme is on all the networks. And it's always the same, although I did hear one product say it had 42 icebreakers. But it's always the same. We got two, and they keep showing these icebreakers.
Jalopies.
Yeah, they're junkers.
All right, icebreaker jalopies. I know. Oh, we can't have that. We're the strongest country in the world. We need icebreakers to crush through the melted water. Okay, fine. All right, do your 3x3. John has been watching three networks for 3 weeks. Yes, and fish story.
The networks all covered in various manners. The Obama picked up a fish, a salmon or something, and it shot sperm all over him.
Yes, it spawned on him.
Yeah, spawned on him. And so there's a bunch of different ways of handling this story. Now, here's the NBC version of the fish story, which was kind of the typical... NBC, by the way, is the worst of these three networks in terms of news. I'm just going to tell you that. There's no doubt about it. But this is their version of the story.
President Obama's wrapping up his 3-day trip to Alaska and serving as part of his own camera crew using a selfie stick in front of the state's Exit Glacier. He also spotted a whale while on a boat tour. And kind of a funny moment today when cameras captured a fish spawning on the president's shoe as he held it. And while he was watching kids perform, he just couldn't resist joining them in a dance.
Oh, they didn't even give the punchline.
That's NBC. They stink.
They stink like rotten spawning fish.
Stink. And so meanwhile, they had they kicked it. I think the best one was there's a number of jokes that came out of this, but the best one I think was the short little clip. And before we play it, I want to give you a contrast. NBC and ABC less so than NBC, but NBC was all in, and they had it as a teaser, major teasers about global warming and climate change. And that's why he's up there. And they did a lot of stories on it. And they had him at this glacier where he's supposed to be walking around, and and the classic thing is there's a sign that says 1951 where the glacier was in 1951, and now it's a quarter of a mile away.
It's gone. It's melted.
And it was way back, and he looks at it longingly, like he gives a crap where the glacier ever was. And by the way, we're out of an ice age, so these glaciers should be moving back. They've been moving back for the last 1,000 years.
Don't try to put any science onto my butt, John. Stop that.
So this glacier is like receding like a glacier would do over in this era. And they go on and on and on and on about it, and they go into climate change. That's what they do at NBC. I want to play this before we play the punchline to the fish story. This is the same version of a very long story about the glaciers. A CBS on Obama and glaciers. This is the way CBS played it.
Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Got it.
The president hiked today to Alaska's Exit Glacier, which is melting. A sign marks where it stood in 1951. It shrunk a quarter mile. Proof, according to the president, that time is running out to reverse climate change.
Science! That's it. That's all they're going to do. They're not going to belabor it. They just ran it.
Just
still a little bit of climate change in there.
Yeah.
Now, here is the CBS version of the fish story.
Okay.
And so it went as Davis stood her ground.
I'm sorry. Sorry. That's the wrong one. CBS clip, Obama and the fish. That's the one, right?
Yes.
Sorry, because you said version, and I picked up on version. Here we go.
On his visit to Alaska today, President Obama got close to nature, and nature got close to him. As the president held up a salmon, the fish, let's say, disgraced itself on Mr. Obama's shoes.
Disgraced itself.
The president explained that the salmon was spawning a little bit. A fisherwoman told Mr. Obama the salmon was happy to see him. And we'll be right back.
All righty. Now, do you need to...
We're out. CBS doesn't dick around with these obvious bullcrap stories. Okay. I have to give CBS credit. It is of the three.
Hold on. Before you go 3 by 3, I got the raw video of this. And so there's a couple things we need to discuss. First of all, I understand that, I remember as a kid, 7 years old, maybe we go off to Florida, be fishing, and then you catch something, and it's a big scary fish. I'm like, I don't want to touch it. But here, put some gloves on. Okay, I'll touch it. You hold it up for the camera. I'm wearing gloves because I don't want to stick my fingers in the gill. I don't like it. The president not only has gloves on, he has these big red rubber kitchen gloves, red, mind you. And then she hands...
So he's like a sheepish 7-year-old.
Yes, and she hands him the fish, and you can see it squirting down. He goes, ooh, and he drops the fish on the ground. Did you see? They go, ooh. I mean, like a 7-year-old would do. And he drops the fish, and then he steals her line.
He's spawning. Did you see that? He got on my shoes. He was spawning a little bit, which generally you don't want fish spawning on your feet. She said he was happy to see me.
You see? She said he's happy to see you, and he steals her line.
Yeah, I missed that. It's a good catch.
You always got to go for the raw video, man. Always got to go for that. I was like, really? You steal her line? But because when the president
said the network, I'll give CBS credit for not going. I mean, they could have had him dropping the thing and acting like a kid and going. Ooh.
They didn't show that. They didn't show him dropping it on the ground.
No. They just it was short. It was in and out. You get this. He's holding the fish. Bang, bang, bang. We're gone. Go to the commercial.
Yeah, and then they lie by. Well, they don't necessarily lie, but you can barely hear the fisherwoman saying, he's happy to see you. And he says, hey, he's happy to see me, which is like the gayest of all gay jokes. The fish just came all over me. Well, he must be happy to see me. But see, they protected him. They protected him from ridicule on that one.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because it's a pretty off-color joke.
Well, you get
for
a
the
lot
president.
Let's face reality.
Okay. Really?
These networks, they really are not there to do anything but to sell products, mostly pills. And if they did what you suggested, they would be inundated by these Obama bots, the ones you just had dinner with, that would be all over. Oh, you're just making fun of the president. You are biased. You hate Obama. Or you're a Republican. It's not worth the aggravation.
It's not.
Not for a big network.
No, it's true. It's true. But if it were anyone else, it would have been plastered.
Yeah, if it was George Bush.
Yeah.
Or Sarah Palin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's so stupid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I find that that is a distortion of the news. It's not that important, but it is a distortion of the news.
It is distortion.
And the president made an off-color joke, and they should have said, well, you know what? In my opinion, I thought the joke was funny. He gained points. Of course, he stole it from the girl. He didn't say
she wasn't mic'd.
Yeah, she was off mic.
Get it out there.
Yeah, but he didn't say.
The CBS report never had her mic. They just said what she said.
Right. Yeah, it was, but you can hear it very clearly in the clip.
Well,
it's not that good through the Skype, but it's audible. And if you watch the video, you see her talking, you hear it. And he says, hey, you're just happy to see me. Bill, that's funny. It's a good joke. But no, they don't give it to him because it was off color for the president. Can't have that.
Well, this whole thing, by the way, I was looking at the pictures of this event of him floating around. This is the second Obama. This is
it's the second one. Yeah, I agree.
Have you looked at the pictures? It's not. Who is that? There's some pictures. It's like, wow,
doesn't even look like him. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like him.
I know. Well, I have a transition clip for us. This is the show Crosstalk on RT. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
And the host is some American guy who looks a lot like Eric Schmidt from Google. I just can't get him.
Well, he looks like a chubbier version, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Eric Schmidt from Google. And he has on, he has a Syrian on. He's got some other douchebag and two douchebags from the UK.
It's a lot of douchebags in that
It's a douchebag show. And one of them is an artist, an artist/activist. Who actually doesn't, he has a couple of valid points. He has some things that are, some good points. But he comes up with this, and I was just scratching my head. This, of course, is about the refugees, or what we call the migrant crisis.
There are clear cases where what your first guest was arguing is absolutely true. I mean, Libya, for example, it's fairly evident that Western intervention there, followed by a total failure and betrayal of those people in building any kind of infrastructure, has created the world's greatest client state for people smugglers. It's not a coincidence that so many people from sub-Saharan Africa are coming up through.
So here he already has a little bit of the meme. It's not because of war, but it's because, there's people smugglers there. Yeah, those are the guys are to blame.
The Libyan route. But there are two big causes of migration that we haven't discussed yet, one of which is climate change. And that's a really, really important one. It's incredibly difficult to imagine how to address that problem.
It's incredibly difficult to imagine your whole statement, dude.
Because it's almost already taken place. It's sort of irreversible in certain respects. It's making vast amounts of the global south uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable, I say.
Very inhabitable if they got bombed.
Yeah. Now, I'm
going to tell you this in advance. I have to look for it, though, because I've taken notes now. I'm now taking notes on all the specific network news shows by block.
Excuse me. Yeah.
And this particular meme did appear, and I believe it was on NBC. Blaming climate change for this migration, or instead of refugees. I just have to dig through the notes, so I'll be doing that.
Well, I awoke yesterday to Europe in turmoil. The EUs are just, it's out of control. And it's really cool to see how this works. I was looking at of course, the Dutch newspapers, or I subscribe to a lot of feeds, so it pops up quickly. There is one picture, which I have a little piece of video here from CNN International, that has really gripped everybody's hearts. Now, of course, it's all real.
We're standing, of course, outside this temporary refugee shelter in the city of Munich, where mostly Iraqi and Syrian refugees arrive, and many of them are looking to start a new life here in Europe. But tragically, we also know that not all of them make it here. And we have to warn you that the pictures that we're about to show you are extremely disturbing, but we do feel that we have to show them to you because they show the stark reality of the enormous tragedy that's unfolding right here on Europe's doors. Now, the pictures that you're seeing right now is the dead body of a small child. The boy's body was washed onto a tourist beach in Bodrum in Turkey today. He and his family, believed to be from Syria, were refugees trying to get from the Turkish coast to Greece. At least 12 others died when their boats sank. And this is the disturbing reality that so many families face when they make that dangerous journey to try to come to places like this.
There you go. So you will see that if you haven't already.
All the networks ran that picture. Some of them ran video. The one that did the best job of it, which went into some explanation, was actually ABC. And I believe, let me take a look at this here. It was either ABC or CBS. They ran a video with and they talked to his brother. He was 3 years old, and the brother was 10 years old.
They found his family. Okay,
they had details. Yes,
clip?
And no clips. I mean, there's no clip. It was a visual. Yeah. But every network showed this little cute little. I mean, it's pathetic. Little boy with the shoes on. I mean, it was just like
face down in the water. It was really
not that one. It's when they're carrying him. They all had the cradled kid.
Oh, you didn't see him face down in the water?
No, I saw that one of the networks did that. No, I saw the face down, but that was only one of the networks. And I think that was ABC.
That's World Press Photo Award winning, that kind of shot.
Well, it wasn't. Well, I think the climate change, because I'm looking through the notes, it's not in here. The climate change angle on the immigration was on Democracy Now, which is all in on.
Makes nothing but sense.
Makes lots of sense.
I got a few more migrant clips because I'm a little bit obsessed by it. You got anything? Because I'll just roll through them real quick.
I don't have migrant. I don't know if I do. I'll look, but play yours.
Right. So first we go to, here we go. This is from Euronews. Now we have hundreds, if not thousands, of migrants are stranded in Hungary, in Budapest. And here's what is interesting is, we have throughout the EU, we have the Schengen Agreement, that's really what's on the table right now. And the Schengen Agreement means no borders, very much like, you can go from Texas to Oklahoma. You can travel right across the United States, not a problem.
Well, you will be stopped in California.
Well, I would, yeah. So
anybody coming from out of state to check for fruit.
Huh. Well, what they're doing here is people are, they're arriving with tents, like nice tents, because these are educated people. These are not sand bunnies. They're real people who speak English quite fluently. And then, you'll hear in some of these clips what type of, there's even dudes named Ben in here, highly educated. And they also have money, and they're buying train tickets, and then they're not being allowed to travel. They are being corralled. What is that British word again they use in London for protesters?
Yeah, it's like kettling.
Kettling, yes, kettling. So here's hundreds, I think probably more, who are stranded here in Budapest.
There are angry scenes in Budapest as hundreds of migrants congregate outside the main international train station. They've been prevented from travelling on to Western Europe, primarily Germany. A government spokesman says Hungary is enforcing EU law requiring travellers within Europe to hold a valid passport and a Schengen visa.
Look at my son, what happened? His head.
Hungary is primarily a transit country for migrants. There are those who say this is about politics, not people.
It's paid. It's not installations. It's one paid. You say that you care of the human rights. We need a little bit of human rights. We don't need all the human rights. A little bit. Just security and basics, okay?
We want to go to Germany, to let us to go Germany. Police catch us. No taxi, no train to go Germany. Why? We are a human.
Temporary camps have appeared around the station, which was closed for a short time. More than 140,000 have crossed the border from Serbia this year alone. The question now is, where do they go? Our correspondent says the majority of these people are angry because they don't understand why they're allowed to pay a lot of money for their tickets and then not be allowed to get on a train.
Well, it's even worse than that. And from this, I believe, has arisen a spokesperson. He has all the hallmarks. Look for him. Guy with an orange shirt, sleeveless shirt. Kind of stocky.
That's the I'm human, you're human?
Yeah, I don't remember what's on it, but he has kind of...
No, he says that.
Oh, that's the guy, yes. I'm human.
No, this guy, I think it might be onto something, because I noticed this same exact guy, this same exact clip, I think it came from ITN.
That would make sense.
Every network.
I have a second clip from him where he's actually explaining the real situation, because what they did is they opened the doors, people rushed in, then they opened the back doors, caught them, and took them right away to the camp. It's just like, yeah, we're going on the train. You're right through to the back, and you're in the camp.
Where are you go? Where are you go? They make us a trap inside. They let us inside at 5 o'clock, and they took out the guys from the other door to the camp. Tell us what is the solution. Tell us what is the solution. Everyone can be in our situation. Everyone can have our role. Please make us our solution. Please find for us a solution. I have no more appetite to speak. I think words cannot be reached. How to reach our words? How is the way?
So this guy, and he's really pissed off, but I think he will become some form of spokesperson because he's telegenic. He's got a very, the recognizable orange shirt. He's got kind of a tuft of hair on top of his head. He's a young guy, Then look for him to become some form of spokesperson. Meanwhile, in the at Starfleet Command there at the EU's, we have the Prime Minister of Hungary standing next to is it Schultz? Yeah, I think it's next to Schultz. And here's what he has to say about the whole problem.
You know, the problem is not a European problem. The problem is a German problem. Nobody would like to stay in Hungary. So we don't have difficulties with those who would like to stay in Hungary.
I'd like that. No one in their right mind wants to stay in Hungary. The Hungarians don't want to stay in Hungary. They'll work for poop. That's why the Hungarians are so happy with the Schengen Agreement. They've all dispersed mainly to, Germany.
Nobody would like to stay in Hungary, neither in Slovakia, nor Poland, nor Estonia. All of them would like to go to Germany. Our job is only to register them.
Our job is to only register them. So this does come down to the Schengen Agreement, and this is, when you have a union like the European Union, who have no problem, particularly the Germans, but everyone's in on, who have no problem completely kicking a fellow country into the dirt and stomping on them like they've been doing to Greece. What do you expect they're going to do to people from outside? The whole EU is showing its dirty underwear. The whole EU they just hate each other. They don't give a crap about anybody else. They're all egomaniacs. The guy's running the show. And there is no concise agreement on what to do with these, with all of these migrants. I have one last clip. This is, I think, again,
I should mention a little historical thing here.
Oh, please.
In the 1900s, leading up to World War I, that was another era of fantastic global trade. There's great charts and graphs about how global trade was going up and up and up, and passport control was eliminated, very much like we have now. This is not people always think. I guess people think there were passport controls in the Roman Empire. I don't know what they're thinking, but the passport control is fairly recent. And it's been on and off, but I believe you probably would be hard pressed to find Abraham Lincoln's passport, for example. But it really came to be after World War I because these people were freely roaming around from country to country, and that's how that guy got shot, the prince. From somebody from another country. There's no passport control. There's nobody keeping tabs on anybody.
No, but it's part of the New World Order's plan, obviously, to have Ausweis.
Yeah, you want passport. When I was a kid, in fact, in school, little kid, like in the 4th grade, 5th grade, South Africa was mocked for being this horrible place. This is by my liberal teachers. For being a horrible place because they required their citizens to have ID.
Yeah. Which you are not required to carry in the United States.
No, you're not. But you get on how easy it is to get on an airplane. Some guys have done it, but it's a horrible experience.
Yeah, it's not fun, but you have the right to travel freely.
Yeah. Continue.
Final one. The migrants clearly want the Europeans to help.
I'm from Syria, from Kobani.
From Kobani?
Yes. I'm Kurdish.
And I'd like to point out that most of these people are coming from Syria. The ones who are the influx right now, they say, they're from Afghanistan and Iraq and blah, blah. And that Syria is always kind of Syria. Yeah. But every single person I see on camera is from Syria.
Why did you leave Kobani? Is it very bad?
I leave Kobani because in Kobani all killing is in Kobani not safe. We can't save our children, our family, my wife. We leave Kobani because we want to make a new life for our family.
Where do you want to go to? Where do you want to live?
Germany or Norway.
Why do you choose Germany, for example? Why Germany?
Because in Germany we can save us family. We can make a new life for my daughter. I am complete my study because I am engineering by information technology, communication.
The Hungarian government says there are too many people, that no more people can come.
I think nobody from Syria make trouble here. We far from Syria for save our family, for save ourselves. We just need to live here. to go. I am 5 days in Hungary. We need somebody. We need country save us. We need Europeans save us.
Europeans, please save us. Please save us.
Somebody pointed out that this is this group of refugees, specifically the ones you're referring to, the Syrians. Mm-hmm. This is a fantastic workforce at some point in the future for the Europeans.
It's a dude named Ben. He's fantastic, and they'll do anything.
They'll do anything, probably work cheap. But the point somebody made was it takes an inordinate amount of ambition to pick up from a country your family's been born and raised in and lived in forever, unroot yourselves, and then trek. Literally trek. You're not driving off in your Mercedes. You're making this miserable trip. This is
with your
high ambition person that would have a lot to offer to most of these dying European cultures. Yeah. There's lots of numbers that show that the Italians there's not going to be Italian left. They don't want to breed. They just don't want to breed.
Well, here's my question to you. Why is it that with every earthquake or, tidal wave or whatever, immediately Hollywood gets together? Everybody's all in. Oh, let's go immediately. Let's put together a benefit concert. Everyone, Bon Jovi's here, everybody. Why is this not happening now?
You've got something going on and you need a distraction. Call Clooney. Call Clooney.
Come on, Clooney. Where are you, Clooney? We need Clooney to help. Clooney to the rescue. Let's get one of these together. Change your icon on Facebook and Twitter. To the dead kid in the ocean.
Icon changing. Nobody gives a crap.
Why? That's
the State
disgusting.
Department's obviously against us doing anything because we think. Well, I've said this before, and you more or less agree with this. We want this to happen because it's messing up Europe, and it's causing chaos.
It is. Well, it could be the way the arguments are going. It could be a very significant chink in the EU armor of solidarity. No one can make a call. The Dutch are. And this is only. I know the Dutch because I speak the language. They said, okay, we'll take 2,000. And then the EU Starfleet Command goes, no, you need to take at least 8,000. Well, we don't really want. Screw that. You see, there is no compassion among the European Union. Well, there's no compassion among anybody because we still think this is done by climate change. Well, you know what? If I get an electric car, I'll save the refugees or some crap like that. It's really disgusting. Meanwhile, just to bring it all full circle, we have the Turks are now actively engaged in fighting. It's supposed to be in Syria with coalition airstrikes. But listen to this report from, obviously, RT. I say that just so you can take it with whatever grain of salt you want, but I think it's pretty accurate.
In Syria and Iraq, Kurdish forces have been one of the U.S.'s greatest allies in rolling back ISIS. However, to Turkey, the Kurds represent a major political threat. And in June, the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party won historic gains in the Turkish parliament, capturing 13% of the vote. This left the Turkish Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan's Justice and Development Party without a majority in the parliament for the first time since 2002. So within a month of those elections, Erdogan was agreeing to bomb ISIS. But as veteran journalist Patrick Coburn at The Independent explains, it swiftly emerged that Ankara's real target was the Kurds in Turkey and Syria and Iraq. Action against ISIS was almost an afterthought, and it was hit only by 3 Turkish airstrikes compared to 300 against the bases of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK. Turkey has used the U.S. campaign against ISIS as a cloak to take out political frustrations on the Kurdish people.
Well, there you go. Now, here's the thing that I don't have a clip, but I do have, let me see, where's the little story here. The Russians, let me just see, where is this? Oh, yeah. Gazprom, that would be the Russians, has just announced that they may join the Arabian gas pipeline. Now, this is very interesting to me, being a student of the pipeline infrastructure. As you know, the entire fight, or as I have asserted, the entire fight over Syria was Bashar al-Assad's decision, instead of participating in the Arab gas pipeline, which brings gas up from Qatar through Syria, through Homs, Aleppo, all these towns that were obliterated, into Turkey, over the Iraq-Iran gas pipeline, which was supposed to go all the way through to the Russian deepwater port, or possibly up to Turkey, up to the port of Ceyhan. And when he said, oh, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to use the Iran-Iraq, that's when all hell broke loose. And now Gazprom is saying, screw these guys. We'll just take part in this one. We don't care. And I think this signals that the Russians are giving up. They're also now reportedly flying sorties around Syria. So who knows what we could see happen in the sky, but for sure, if they join the Arab gas pipeline project, which I also believe is partially predicated upon the fact that there was a huge gas strike off the coast of Egypt, which means, oh, you know what? We don't need those a-holes in Israel with their Leviathan project. We'll just team up with the Egyptians and take part in their gas over there. So I think Syria is more in play now than ever with this very important change in focus of Gazprom, i.e. the Russians.
Well, that's possible.
So it's about time.
There's definitely stuff changing.
Well, there's always something changing, including the climate, John. You know more, you better than anybody.
Well, I can check again.
No, don't check. Because I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Call Clooney, Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to everybody in the chat room, noagendastream.com. Good to have you all on board as usual. In the morning to our artists, thank you, Stunned by Soup. Stunned by Soup gave us the artwork for episode 752. And if you recall, the title of that episode was the gender binary. Excuse me. And the artwork actually was a piece of evergreen that we picked up, which was the no agenda, which I thought was cute to say the least.
It is cute.
And that also gives me the opportunity to thank Kevin Reeves, a professional musician, who said, I'm so sad that you couldn't find the Mexican version of Obama's no. He made a special new one for us.
Hey, listen. No. You're in my house. Hey, come on, guys. No. Shame on you. Hey, okay. No. I'm up in the house. Hey, drinking the booze. No.
Wow.
And he delivered another one, a shorter one, and he took the Donald Trump bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And added it to good old Barry and came up with this.
This guy's a genius.
Well, yeah, he is. Professional musician. Gotta love it. Got to love it.
People in the studio, what are you doing there? Why are you doing this?
I'm mixing a joint, man. This thing drops on Thursday on the No Agenda show. Shit could be dropping.
We have a few people to thank. In fact, to thank profusely, that beginning with Earl Maynard in Newark, New Jersey. They gave us an Instanite, $1,000.01. I've been listening to the show since the first iPhone was released in 2007. When I decided to check out Apple's podcasts, that first episode hit me squarely in the mouth. When did we start this thing? It was 8 years ago.
A long time ago, yeah. Well, you said 2007. 2007, I guess.
Huh. Anyway, believe me, as far as I'm concerned, anyone who listened to the first episode and actually continued listening, I don't know what their problem was. All while reasoning with my already skeptical and questioning nature The format, content, levity, and most importantly, the characters, both literally and metaphorically, are brilliant.
Thank you.
Well,
let me guess. You have still not resolved your monitor issue.
To a Lux.
Hey, really?
And it's not trivial.
Yeah, but okay.
Adam and I also shared today.
Would you like some interns to help? I can get some interns.
As our birthday, thus the best date in the multiverse reference. Actually, if I had, well, maybe not.
Interns.
That wouldn't help. So it's clearly.
Shall I read it? Because this is horrible.
Well, it's because anytime there's this overlay of color, like it just blows out. I mean, it's just like it's almost impossible to read through it.
Looks good on my monitor.
Well, I suppose if I turn the brightness up, it would
Please,
help.
well, you do that. I'll read along until you catch up. Please accept my humble apologies along with this modest palindromic donation of $1,000.01. Please accept my apologies for being a boner as long as I have been. If you can find it in your collective hearts to bestow upon me a de-douching, it would be very much appreciated indeed. Yes, we'll do that as a part of your sequence. The meaning in the donation, though I love the sound effect, I've always felt bad when you yourselves have to pitch in the extra penny to make whole my fellow palindromic aspiring knights who donate the 3 times 33333 level to achieve knighthood. Well, today I say no more! By providing the extra penny with my Insta-Night donation of this format, I both maintain the unique palindromic donation format and provide that final scintilla required to bring one fellow producer across the line at no cost to the cause. Hopefully others will follow suit and strengthen the order, and I will gladly grab that. Thank you, that penny. It's a big ass penny.
And I put it in the little cup.
It's in the cup. I'd like to call out Lords Phobie and Bennett as douchebags, both of whom have cunningly evaded my direct attempts at mouth hittings over the years. I hope publicizing their evasiveness may finally bring them to become listeners and, who knows, maybe one day future producers. I'd like to request the following combo. Don't look over here. Chemtrails WTC7, Science plus Karma for today's donation, and birthday shout-outs to, for, and from Adam, myself, Migs, Joe, Jean, Desiree, my mom, Smoo, and any other Virgos on the list today. Adam, I'll hold down Gitmo Lowlands for you on this occasion of our birthday. Oh, is he from the Lowlands? Interesting.
He's from Newark, New Jersey.
But he says I'll hold down the Lowlands.
Well, maybe that's the Lowlands he's from.
No, that's possible. Oh, well, he says Gitmo Lowlands. Anyway, the appropriate ceremonial event and henceforth thereafter, please dub me Sir Influence of Sugar City, Order of the Palindrome. Happy to do that. Let me get the de-douching out of the way and all of your clips here.
You've been de-douched.
Don't look over here. Nothing to see here. Ooh, look at that. Chemtrails. WTC7 won't go away.
You've got karma.
There you go. Thank you so much. Look forward to your ceremony at the end of the show.
All right, so we got another big donor, Brian Morton from Casper, Wyoming, came with $762, and it ends up becoming a knight in the process.
Excellent.
I have the note.
Mm-hmm.
He, John, enclosed, please find 762 cash for my 762, as in 7.52 millimeters. So I don't know how that makes a connection, but he will become the member of a 7-something club, maybe.
Okay.
So he's got 762 as in 762 millimeters club membership, and make him a club member today.
Okay.
And knight me Sir Lead, as in bullets, and electrical chemical energy storage.
Is he
Sir
on that?
Lead?
Let me see if I don't think we have him on there.
No, you wouldn't. It would be in the note.
Brian Morton, Sir Lead. Okay.
I donated $60 back when Adam was talking about aspartame. And my son was having horrible headaches. It saved a trip for us to the doctor. And when we removed the aspartame-laden chewing gum, the headaches went away.
Figure, how does it work? It's amazing.
Yeah, chewing on...
so this show has saved a child from pain.
We've done a lot of child saving from pain.
I agree.
But yeah, well, it's toxic. Weren't there some reports just recent that said this stuff is really just industrial waste?
Yes, I think the Health Ranger Mike said that.
Yeah. I sent Adam a note, and it was not read.
Oh.
I also sent a short note with a $100 donation, and it was then that I realized that Adam had blocked me.
I have not blocked him.
For a bit of rude gun safety advice. That
I doubt I have blocked him. No,
well,
why would I do
you
that?
Didn't like the rude gun safety advice.
That's bull crap. I have not blocked him.
And meanwhile, he says he's become a ham because of Adam.
Well, that's good.
KG7QTP.
Hey, in the morning. KF5 SLN.
Dittos.
You are getting your license so revoked.
Yeah, sure. All I said was dittos, and I'm not on the air, by the way.
Okay.
Is he doing a meetup in Yellowstone? That's what he wants to know. My wife has always been wanting to go and would love to meet him. She has a crush on him from the MTV days.
Oh, I hope I don't disappoint in IRL.
Well, actually, you look pretty much like you did then.
No, I don't. The hair is much shorter.
Well, you don't have that ludicrous wig.
It was not a wig, a-hole. It wasn't a wig. Look at your own hair. Just because it's thinning out. Be careful, man.
Take a look at that hair. And
it was not a wig. This is ridiculous.
Well, it should have been a wig.
Now you sound like every dickhead who says something about Donald Trump's hair. This is how stupid it is.
Well, I've never said that.
With that wig.
Well, it looked like a wig.
How about those glasses when you couldn't pull apart the stupid PC in the video, Dvorak? You're looking like Buggles.
Those were the glasses that were avant-garde during that era.
Avant-garde? How about avant-douche?
Accounting. And he's got his accounting. All sent via PayPal, blah, blah, blah. I request to tell you, I request for you to tell your, I don't know if he's directing this me or you.
Okay.
Your vampire hand story. I haven't heard it for a couple of years. And though Adam has a tendency to groan at your jokes, I guess it's for me, I do very much enjoy your sense of humor.
I don't recall any vampire hand story.
I don't recall a vampire hand story.
About that, no.
What would be a vampire hand story?
I don't know.
Well, it was a couple of years ago, so I don't know. Sorry, Sir Led, but I don't. You'd have to give me more details of the story because I don't remember a vampire hand story, and Adam doesn't either. But it's apparently one that you groaned at.
Well, there you go.
All right, no requested jingles.
Okay.
So we'll have to just say, let's pick a jingle, do the Mexican hat dance thing again, and then
why don't I pick a different jingle? Maybe another.
Pick something new.
All right, I got something new. Let me see. And yes, since we were talking about hair, I'll do this.
We will build a fabulous great wall of rum. We will build a fabulous great wall of rum. We will build a fabulous great wall of rum.
You've got karma.
The Great Wall of Trump.
I didn't understand a word of that.
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously.
Okay.
I couldn't pick it up.
Then it's no good.
No, I couldn't pick up a word of it. It was strange.
Okay. Well, then it's no good. All right. We'll work on it.
Just blah, 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 something. I don't know.
We will build a Great Wall of Trump.
I couldn't hear that at all.
Well, good. Then we'll keep playing it. Only people in the know will understand it.
Well, I can probably, if I listen to it long enough, it's not very clear.
Okay, gotcha.
Sergei Natulyev in Austin, Texas, right down the street. Sorry?
The Earl.
The Earl and the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Sheriff of Texas, which I think is what he's most proud of. 594. This is, what does this say? Hold on.
Thanks for
helping me make the Decadent Minimalist Kickstarter reach $500,000.
Holy moly. I don't know if we were personally responsible for that, we need to change our business model and start making wallets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There were 66 lucky buyers who got a limited edition Club 33 wallet. This is our thanks and no agenda for your mention. You can still get a wallet directly at decadentminimalist.com.
By
Ayn Rand.
Thank you, Sir Gene, Earl of Texas, Sheriff de Marriott.
Yeah. Sir James Spitzer, Baron James Spitzer, sir, 33333 from Jamaica Plain. Is there a Jamaica Plain in Massachusetts?
There's most definitely. And I have a note from him later on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My name says a breath of of wind in your sails during the summer doldrums. Baron Jim of Jamaica Plains and surrounding plantations.
Yeah, he has a note for our LGBTQIAAP segment later on.
You have a segment?
I do.
Sir Nick of the South Side from Herndon, Virginia, 252.80. Happy birthday, Adam.
Thank you.
My donation is a combo, $51 for Adam's birthday, $52.80 for the Mile High Club, and the rest of the show. I need a de-douching, as I've been meaning to donate since July, but have been very lazy. My lack of donation is no reflection on your work. The show has been outstanding of late. Please keep up the good work. At the end of the day, the No Agenda Show is the only podcast you need. Yeah, no. I'd like to hear Oreo as addictive as cocaine, followed by It's Real, LGY, and some travel karma and birthday karma for Adam, Sir Nick of the South Side.
Thank you very much. De-douching comes first. As requested.
You've been de-douched.
Oreos are just as addictive as cocaine.
It's real! It's real! It's real!
Wow!
You've got karma.
It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Susie, what is it?
Hooiboer.
Hooiboer.
It would be hooiboer in Dutch, and that means hay farmer. Hooiboer.
Hey, Susie. She's in Bristol, Tennessee. I'm sure she pronounces her name differently. Oh, maybe not.
Well, Highboer. I don't know.
Whatever the case is, yeah, Highboer. Happy birthday, Adam. It's my birthday, too.
Oh, happy birthday. Yay.
My donation is your birth year, 64 plus 80, and age is 51 plus 35, added together. It's not terribly original, but I've been listening for years, thanks to my awesome husband. And I've never donated for your birthday before. I hope yours is a great one. Just wanted to say thanks for all the work you guys do. Episode 749, The Big Jump, was probably one of my favorites as of late.
Oh, thank you.
And has really stuck with me. While we grow frustrated with the mainstream media, my husband, John, and I find your show to be refreshing and really appreciate your unbiased and brutal take on everything.
That's
a great note.
It's not what we get from everybody, I have to say. I've been a little discouraged by some people's emails. Yeah, they've had a lot of... And I wonder, is that does that mean we're doing well, or are we messing it up? I don't know. It's...
Well, I think you have to go with the average, the median. Can I get some Job Karma chemtrails and a Batman? No.
Yeah, I think.
Thanks again, guys. Keep it up. We'd be lost in a sea of media nonsense without you.
Chemtrails. No, that's not it. Crap.
That was it.
No, that's not it. That's Batman, but it's not the Batman. No.
Oh,
why can't I find this now? That's strange. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm going to look for it, and we'll give you the karma right now.
You've got karma.
That's very strange. Why can't I?
Yeah, it is strange. It's unusual.
Yeah, it's not like me to lose something like that. Well, we'll find it.
It's just categorization issues. This is the problem with the world is large databases.
It's the cloud, man. It's all the cloud. The cloud is screwing with me.
Man, you screwed up.
The
you
cloud
lost it in the
messing
cloud.
with me, baby. Yeah.
Told you not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Keith Bradshaw in Statesville, North Carolina, $200, and he says, and he just keeps it short and sweet. I have to appreciate that. Give him a karma for this, by the way.
All right.
Astounding shows of late. Keep it coming. So there you go. You got two good comments. I guess the negative Nellies are on, they're Obama bots.
You've got karma.
But no, it's worse than that. It's a lot of people got, when something happens in someone's own backyard, this is what I've noticed. Our show has clearly grown. More people are listening. And when like the shooter at the base in, was it North Carolina? Or was it South Carolina? North Carolina? And we take our typical, like, okay, it's a story, and we deconstruct what we can. People are like, this is bullshit, crap, you don't know the sorrow and the hurt.
That one guy.
I do. That guy. And then another one when our deconstruction. Well, deconstruction just of the reports and what was out there of the TV shooters.
The TV shooter thing. Well, we did get, there's a couple of things. We didn't like doing that story to begin with because
it's a local story.
And it's a local news story. It should have just stayed local.
And people
Which,
are saying,
by the way, I'm going to bring up, I
got to know, there's like, this is a national tragedy and you're making light of it. No, it's not a national tragedy. I'm sorry. It's just not.
It's a local murder.
It happens.
We have 2 of these in Oakland every day.
Yeah.
Those lives are just as important as anybody else.
No, John. Hashtag no lives matter. You know better than that.
No lives matter.
No lives matter.
We have these types of things. That was not a national story. It was turned into one. For some reason, and they're going to discuss a story that is they're trying to break into national, which has not gotten anywhere yet, which is part of my deconstruction of the 3 networks, because one network is on it, nobody else is, and I think...
All right, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, we have one last one here.
Okay.
And this is Stephen Schneider. In Gurnee, Illinois. $200. And he sent in a note. So he sent a check in. So he sends a note on some sort of like composition, from where you have the spiral binding, so it tears it out. And it's written in longhand of some very arcane style and small. So I actually have a magnifying glass in my hand to read this note.
Okay.
So you have to imagine this. John and Adam, thank you for your courage. No jumping through hoops. I get it. No jumping through hoops, but this is ration of house karma. He needs some house buying karma. I bet.
Oh, okay.
With a pinch of jocks, J something. Have world be a much appreciated.
You sure it's not the monitor, but it's just your eyes?
It could be, but I got a magnifying glass, so that shouldn't be my eyes. I could send you. I'll send you a scan of this.
I'm believing you. I'm just asking a logical question.
Oh, I get it. I see it. It's Jobs karma.
Jobs karma.
With a pinch of Jobs karma. So he wants house buying karma and Jobs karma. Okay. Figured it out.
End of note?
Yeah.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Alrighty.
Yeah, well, I am getting more and more farsighted to the point where I'm getting to the point where I have to extend my arm to read stuff. But when it's like this, I have the magnifying glass does the trick, but it's hard to read.
You should get a monocle, maybe. That would look kind of cool.
I'll give you a scan of this note, and I want you to tell me if you could read it.
I still think you should get a monocle. That would just look dynamite, don't you think? And you can put it on a chain, and then when the hot girl comes by, you go, whoo, and then you open your eye and it drops out.
I think the days of the monocle are past.
I think it's time for it to come back. I think the monocle.
I don't see how it's going to work.
It's very steampunkish.
It's like the pince nez.
It's steampunkish.
I'd rather get the pince nez.
Yes, okay. Well, enjoy your pince nez. All right. Thank you all very much to the executive producers and our associate executive producers. Thank you to our Instanite and our big donors. It's a big, big, big birthday for me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for celebrating me, celebrating the show, and helping us continue on our path. And we look forward to thanking our other donors later on in the program.
It's the Big 5-1.
It's the Big 5-1.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, you can always do the very important work of going out there, sneaking up on people, and propagating the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slavelets. Slavelets. Shut up, slaves. Okay, hold on. There's a little glitch here. And get rid of that. Good. Okay. Now, wow, there's so many. Since we were talking about Sir Jim, why don't I pick up his note? Here he is. Adam and John, this is Sir Jim, Baron Jim of Jamaica Plain. Your Sunday show struck a chord. It struck a chord. The University of Tennessee, Knoxville is my alma mater. Nurturing mother, in parentheses.
Great campus, by the way. I've been there.
But I guess it's now my alma nutra, unless nurturing is too sexist. When I was there in the early 70s, do the math, our student newspaper, the Daily Beacon, decided to banish sexist pronouns in favor of T, ter, and tem. And he gives an example. T smoked ter weed and offered tem a toke. T became tedious to read, and T dropped her foolishness at the end of the term. This may be another one of John's cycles. I did not know this. This is, well, I'd say more. It's more fractal, as it's just coming right back.
Well, the problem is, it does fall on like a 40-year thing, so that would be cyclic. Mm-hmm. But there was nothing like that going on in the Bay Area.
There was a pretty funny local news report this is the University of Kentucky, which in this report they call it UT, which is confusing because it's not Austin. And they have a state representative who they bring in, it's like a point counterpoint. They have the state representative, who's a good old boy. Then they have the vice chancellor of diversity and inclusion, who's effeminate to say the least.
Somebody gets paid.
Yes, a lot of money.
As a
apparently.
Chancellor to do that.
Vice chancellor. So there's even someone above him, vice chancellor of diversity and diversité and inclusion.
But why would you want to? I mean, I think it's good when you say somebody's a he or a she, and he called me. That kind of...
And this is such a perfect report because you got the redneck. He doesn't look like a redneck, but he's a redneck.
Is this the diversity guy?
No, this is the redneck state's representative.
Oh,
why would you want to? It's good to call him his or hers. It's much better.
But why would you want to? I mean, I think it's good when you say somebody's a he or a she, and he called me. That kind of tells somebody something. If you go, I'm going to go meet Z, somebody's thinking you're meeting somebody from a different planet, I guess.
For some, like State Representative Bill Dunn, it's a foreign concept, using words like Z instead of he or she. But UT's Vice Chancellor of Diversity and Inclusion says these pronouns have been around for a while, and they have been part of campaigns and dialogues at other campuses in the country.
They're not so new. They've been around. If you do a Google.
This is the guy. If you do a Google, this is the Vice Chancellor. If you do a Google.
Search for under inclusive language, it'll come up. It's a way to be respectful of students who identify as gender non-conforming.
This is the term I love. Gender non-conforming. So it's okay to be gender non-conforming just as long as you're on board with all the messaging. You can't be messaging non-conforming like we are in the No Agenda family, but it's okay to be gender non-conforming.
Yeah, gender non-conforming.
I thought somebody was sending an email around that somebody was just, fooling people with it. And then when I found out it was true, that we actually have people getting paid a lot of money to sit around and come up with this nonsense.
During the first week of class, UT suggested teachers ask students to provide a name and pronoun instead of calling roll. That's because a name on a roster may not reflect the same gender the student uses now.
It makes me think about how might this impact climate for students who are gender non-conforming. How might it impact?
How might it impact students who are gender non-conforming?
Retention. You just got to think about that when people don't.
You got to think about that. You might piss somebody off.
Feel as though they matter. That you're not trying to be welcoming.
While the university says it's about inclusion and sensitivity, others believe it's taking things a little too far.
People need to toughen up. They probably need to have the office of Suck It Up.
The problem with the office of Suck It Up and I'm putting my boot up your ass office. Meanwhile, it's Harvard University. The Faculty of Arts and Sciences registration tool now gives students the option to choose preferred gender pronouns for the first time, according to the Harvard Crimson campus newspaper. This includes the well-known Z, Zir, and Zirs. And
well-known?
I'm sorry?
Are you reading from the paper? They use the term well-known?
No, I said this.
Oh, you threw it.
The Harvard Crimson? Yeah, it's well-known. Is that not well-known?
No, the paper is, but you said the well-known Z, she.
Oh, no, I say this. I'm sorry.
Oh, you said it.
Yes,
okay.
embellishment from the newsreader.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. Washington State, WSU up there, where Wazoo, where everything's on fire. They've got their own version, a little more interesting in the syllabus apparently, and how students will be penalized for using incorrect verbiage.
On Monday, WSU released a statement addressing the syllabi issue and saying that open dialogue, vigorous debate, and a free exchange of ideas are part of who the university is at the core. WSU's campus is once again bustling with students fresh off of summer break. Fall classes began a week ago, and with those classes for some students came strict rules about language they cannot use in class. Some professors in the Department of Critical Culture, Gender, and Race Studies made it clear in their syllabi what language and terms students are not allowed to use, with a result potentially as dramatic as getting points docked or even failing a class.
A little harsh, but you gotta live with it. There are rules in the world, so you kind of have to follow them.
In one class, the terms illegal...
A rule follower!
Yes, we've ISO'd him.
A little harsh, but you gotta live with it. There are rules in the world, so you kind of have to follow them.
There are rules.
You got it's an evergreen.
Yeah, no, I have it.
Then I'll do it.
Yeah, this is a rule follower. There are rules. There are rules in the world. You got to follow them. Shut up.
Failing a class.
A little harsh, but you gotta live with it. There are rules in the world, so you kind of have to follow them.
In one class, the terms illegal alien, colored people, and male and female are cited in the syllabus as words that could gain a student an F.
I think that's unfair. I mean, a lot of students look at it as illegal immigrants. That's how we see it in our news feed. We see it all over, CNN and Fox News. That's what they call them, as legal immigrants.
In the infamous words of Donald Trump, we're going to make America great again with people like this. This is the future of America, everybody.
Can't use male.
I can't use female. I can't use colored people. What was the other one?
How come you can't use colored people, but you can use people of color?
You ask the right questions, Mr. Dvorak.
Because words do matter.
They sure do.
I don't know. Every time I hear people of color, and which I heard just the other day, they said commonly, I think to myself, that's interesting that they would use it's a variation of colored people.
Yep.
As far as I can tell, if you just wiggle the words around a little bit, and somehow one's good and one's terrible.
I know. Oh, before I forget, I have a quick PR mention from Rhino the Bearded. Now, as you know, Rhino has his 00 show, and he runs the No Agenda PodSafe Music stream, all thanks to the No Agenda show and Void Zero, making sure that all happens. So I want to remind you, he's in Europe. He's been in Europe for, I guess, a week and a half or so. Our big show is coming up Friday night. I'm really excited. I'm a week and a half into my journey through Europe. Everything has been fantastic. He's doing these live shows, and I believe they're all live on the stream. I'm already missing the great people I have met so far on the trip, but we have 4 bands playing starting at 8 p.m. There have been some lineup changes. I plan on putting together a big post for the show while on the train to Amsterdam tomorrow. I guess it's going to be in Amsterdam. We already have some No Agenda regulars talking about coming, and a mention on the show will go a long way. I'm bringing some more, obviously. So go to rhinothebearded.com, and if you're in the hood, definitely go check out his show. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah. Rhino from the backwoods of Mississippi all the way to big shows in Amsterdam and in the EU. That's a success story right there.
So we got 2 notes on kind of on the same topic of people writing in from engineers in the sticks that cited the new and you wanted the second note. I don't know if you saw the second note that came in from a different guy who cited the gear that you use to do this sort of broadcasting nowadays. I'm kind of confused by this because I didn't know this was going on, where you have these new backpacks that become remote. Yeah,
with the multiple LTE connections, and they mux them together. Yeah, they mux them together.
You don't need the van anymore.
Right.
You don't need the satellite uplink. You don't need any of that stuff, or the microwave.
Didn't Leo pioneer that at South by?
It's so funny, but that was actually Colleen, the woman that went to work for
Google. Didn't she go to Google?
Yeah, now she's working at Facebook on the project that 3D. What are those things called when you put on your face?
Oculus Rift.
Oculus Rift. She's like the Oculus Rift girl.
Oculus Rift.
And she did that.
Really?
And Leo never did it again after she left. No one else could rig it up.
I remember it. It was a great system. It was very impressive.
Was astonishing.
Yeah, it was impressive.
And so this company in Canada makes all these different pieces of equipment, and it's called the Deere or something. I don't have the name in front of me, but they have these little backpack things, and a lot of it is just a little device that hooks onto the back end of
right onto the battery pack.
Yeah, the battery pack, and then there's even one system for people that work at TV stations that use your iPhone. If you happen to be wandering around and some breaking news happens, you pull out the iPhone, you go right on the air. We're using the streaming feature.
Well, I just got in my my kit. I got the booster and the Yagi antenna for the I Love Laundry tour.
Yeah,
so we can boost up the signal and do everything on LTE.
Right.
It's a little bigger than I expected.
Oh,
yeah. The Yagi. I'll have to take a picture of it. It doesn't look that big in the picture because, of course, there's no reference. I'm like, wow, this is rather large. And then I'm messing around with it yesterday. I immediately
on the roof. The Yagi does, right?
Yeah, it goes outside. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just have it drilled into the roof.
No, it has a pole mount, so I'm going to mount it on something.
So it's a pole. It goes up, and the Yagi's like pointing somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And because I tried it yesterday, I had it indoors, and it was. I didn't do it right. It starts feeding back, and then I started to feel weird, like I was getting RF burns, and like, hey, maybe I should try it.
God, get out of there!
It was my hand, like I could feel it. I'm like, I'm not going to touch this thing.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's high frequency. It's a very high radio frequency, so that can mess you up. So, but anyway, hopefully I won't need to, but I will be going down to the coast tomorrow with the Airstream.
Okay.
Staying through the Labor Day weekend, so I'll be doing the show Sunday from the beach.
With the Yagi?
Well, if I need the Yagi, yeah, but I hope I won't.
So you'll be at the beach in the Airstream, watching the waves waft, and you'll be watching the fireworks.
I hope there's fireworks.
Well, find some place there's fireworks.
Yeah.
There's usually guides to fireworks.
Yes, fireworkguide.com. Yeah. Okay.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah. Then so
I think you finally found your niche. You're
finally after 51
I
years.
hate to say that I had something to do with it, but I did encourage the ham thing, and you become a veteran ham guy.
Yes. In fact, I've become a stooge, and I'm ratting you out for being a bad ham. Yeah.
And you've gotten to the point where you're like, yeah, exactly, total stooge, classic. And now you got the RV or the Airstream. You're going to be the greatest old fart ever.
I just need a rocking chair and a shotgun, and I'm good to go. And a dog named
hound
Boo.
dog.
A dog named Boo.
A hound dog.
You're right, but also the enthusiasm and excitement from people about this tour it's really unparalleled. And I do want to give an update. I will not be going up to Canada on this first leg. There's a whole bunch of reasons, but I have to be back here in Austin by the 28th, which I'll explain as we get closer to the date. So I will be going, I think I leave on the 18th of September. I will be going through Colorado. Colorado first.
Yeah.
And then to Yellowstone, but then I'll be going back again.
Okay.
So we can
take a different route back?
Yeah, of course. So we can hit two different spots in Colorado.
Okay.
It's a big state, Colorado. It's a big state.
Yeah, it's also it's radioactive. Don't stay there too long.
Lots of good weed, man. I might hang out in Colorado.
Well, there's lots of good weed. There's no doubt about that.
Everybody in Colorado.
They're setting the standard for the country.
They are.
The way they're doing it and everything is that they're the leaders. California, which had a 2-year head start on them, they had the possibility of passing it 2 years before. Colorado ever didn't. Could have been California, should be, and could have been the leader in this. But the idiots in California voted no.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So as I've kind of, I'm always keeping my eye on GPS stuff. And, there were some issues recently that we discussed. You said it was all Google Maps that sucked, but I said maybe it's the GPS. And then this NOTAM came out. NOTAM is a notice to airmen, which is no matter what airfield you go to, you always look up the NOTAMs and the one you're departing from to see if there's any cranes or obstructions or closures, etc. And this one came in 2 days ago with 1 day warning, which is very abnormal, starting Here it is. TCAS ADS-B unreliable in southeast U.S. beginning September 2nd. Now, the TCAS is the terrain collision alert system. So if you and every modern aircraft, even the Cessnas, they have this. If you got a glass cockpit, even if you don't, shoot, I had one and I didn't have a glass cockpit. It could just be on your responder. So if you come too close to another aircraft, it'll give you a TCAS warning. The ADS-B is part of the new, this is a transponder mode. It's part of the next gen system, which, as we know, the beating heart failed miserably, which is supposed to have triple redundancy and never could fail. That's the way they sold it, that $1.2 billion project. And now they say, here's the NOTAM. Due to military activities, the TCAS and ADS-B surveillance may be unreliable in the airspace over Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, and extending approximately 200 nautical miles offshore from 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, September 2nd, until midnight, October 1st. Pilots are advised that the traffic alert and TCAS may fail to establish tracks on nearby aircraft, may fail to receive traffic alerts or resolution advisories. Operators should be aware that the tracks may first appear within close proximity to their aircraft and may immediately go into TARA status, which means you get all kinds of shit beeping at you and horns going off because it looks like your track is on a collision course. Pilots are advised to maintain an increased visual awareness in this area. If operators believe that an aircraft should have triggered an alert, the incident should be reported to air traffic control as soon as possible. This is due to a late notice Department of Defense exercise. The NBAA has voiced its concern to the FAA that these sorts of significant impact tests need much more notice to operators in the United States. And so this is New York Center, Washington Center, Jacksonville Center, Miami Center, and New York Oceanic. This is outrageous. So they are jiggling the handle on the GPS system.
Maybe they're repositioning the satellites. They have to do that once in a while.
Hold on. No, it sounds like they're jiggling the handle, John. No, I don't think they're repositioning anything. Why don't they just say we're repositioning the satellites? They're jamming them. But is it this easy? If the Department of Defense can do this, why can't the Chinese or the Russians or any other so-called adversary? We can just make it so planes have unreliable data. The number one thing you want is reliable data. The whole next-gen system is based upon science, technology. It's all going to work. We don't even need pilots anymore. Oh, unless the Department of Defense is doing an exercise, then you may want some pilots on board for visual awareness.
We must have some listener that has an idea of what this is. We need to know what this is.
Well, I think it's... Well, yes, we do need to know. But all of this works based on radio frequency transmissions. The ADS-B is in the clear. It's not encrypted, so is TCAS. So if they're screwing with this, if you're really jamming it, it won't do anything, but it sounds like it's a positioning issue, so it has to be something GPS-related. And do you really have to calibrate the satellites for them to give accurate GPS rating? I'd never heard of a calibration this way. With this kind of impact, 200 miles out to sea, and then all the whole southern, southeastern United States. This is, I don't know. This is concerning.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
Well,
we got a screwball thing going on around here too. You should play this clip. This is the radiation checking.
Okay.
So in fact, a minute ago, the chopper just flew over the studio.
The Department of Homeland Security is doing some radiation checks over the Bay Area.
Did you say studio? It's
a studio.
A specially equipped helicopter is being used for the low
that took
altitude.
You a while.
What?
It was 10 beats before he caught that. He had to interrupt the clip.
Well, yeah, it just hit me all of a sudden that you were calling your archive a studio.
Yeah, that's the studio.
The gall, my friend.
Bay Area. A specially equipped helicopter is being used for the low altitude mission. Now, new at 6 tonight, KPIX5's Mike Sugarman is here with what the feds are looking for. Radiation, Mike?
They are looking for in this part of the Bay Area that you see behind me. This was really a hard story to get any information from. I counted up. I made 26 phone calls, 15 texts, and sent 10 emails. Nobody wanted to buck the Department of Homeland Security, which put out a one-page memo last week. No one wanted to go on the record. But here's what we were able to piece together so we could try to explain it to you. See that helicopter flying around this morning?
When don't you see one?
This one caught a lot of people's attention.
I thought it was Donald Trump.
Nope. It's your basic Bell 412 helicopter. We caught up with it at the Hayward Airport today when it was landing. It is on a special mission. It's Homeland Security measuring radiation around the Bay Area.
That's not ideal. No. I mean, I guess it's good they're measuring it, but why?
You know, I recall... during the clip, I was looking at atomicinsights.com. I recall our resident nuclear expert, our nuclear expert in residence. I'm sorry, that's the way it should be. Our nuclear expert in residence, Sir Atomic Rod Adams. I thought he had posted something about this, and he will no doubt after this program get back to us, and we'll have a report on Sunday, I'm sure, what this is about. He knows this stuff. He knows the players. He'll find out for us. I'm very curious about this.
Well, the one thing they point out, this thing is flying around at 300 feet.
That's rather low. Is it going fast?
Yes.
But is it going...
So you can imagine...
But is it doing 100 knots at 300 feet, or is it just putting around?
It's lazy.
Yeah, well, that's noisy. 300 feet is noisy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when it flew by the studio.
And I think the bell is very susceptible to blade flap, which you've heard it.
Yeah, it's the noise.
Yeah. So that could be very noisy.
I was in Hawaii and taking a helicopter ride
as one does,
on the island of Kauai, which is pretty cool. And I just was there for some event, and I decided to take this chopper ride. And this guy who was a Vietnam vet, who used to brag about it, and he had the headphones on. I figured he was listening to some crazy music. And so I'm and there's this family of 3 sitting in the back, and he says, "Well, it's my last shift." He says, "Would you guys like to experience a bat turn?"
Oh, it's a wing over. Love that.
And I of course knew what it was, and I said, "Yeah." And I was so enthusiastic that these 3 people, a group, kind of nodded their head, looking at each other, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so this guy does a bunch of them. He just comes rolling around. And
what happens is you pull the stick back, you go up, but you don't make a loop. Just at the top where you would, and Apaches can do it, but a Bell can't do it. And then you kick the tail really hard, and you flip down, and you go down towards the earth, and you come back up again. It's a very exciting move.
Well, these people were sheet white.
Did the kid puke on you?
No, nobody puked on me. I think the kid thought it was fun, but the parents were not happy.
It's a bat turn. It's called a wing over, but okay, bat. Maybe that's a Nam guy thing. Well, you also have mast bumping. You know what mast bumping is?
No, it was a Nam guy.
Yeah, so just a little bit of aviation history, a little bit of lore. Mast bumping is when the Vietnam guys were flying the Hueys. And the single blade and not a fully articulated rotor system, so the blades, they canter, they tilt back and forth. And when you're flying nape of the earth, as it's called, where you're just popping over hills, going as close to the earth as possible, you go up the hill. Then when you push the stick down hard, if you do it too hard or just enough, really, then you can get the rotor to bump the tail boom. If you do it too hard, it chops the tail boom off, and then that's what is known as a bad day. But that is mast bumping, not to be confused with clam bumping.
There's a lot of bumping going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. On to, how about a little Hillary news, talking about bumping.
Okay. Clam bumping, yeah.
So Hillary, again, I'm seeing it's pretty clear that ABC hates her.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all in on Jeb Bush. And, of course, that's because I still believe it's the Disney connection. Jeb Bush was the governor of Florida, and Disney's got most of his action down in Florida.
And he's been very good to them.
And he's been good to them, and they've been good to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Hillary is a person that they don't like anybody but Jeb, actually, but they really dislike Hillary. So we have these different takes on the new batch of emails that have come out.
Yes, the gefilte fish emails.
Right. In fact, one of them have the gefilte fish story. So let's see. I think I have. Let's see which ones I've got here. I've got the Hillary emails NBC. This is the Hillary emails NBC soft version. This is the soft version. Not very interesting, but this is the way NBC handled the story.
Now to the new revelations from the latest avalanche of Hillary Clinton emails released by the State Department and what NBC News has learned about what the controversy might mean for a potential Joe Biden presidential bid. We get the details from NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Hillary Clinton under a barrage of emails she never thought would see the light of day. Under court orders, 7,100 more pages, including 125 newly classified confidential. Others are gossipy. Dinner party chatter in 2010 that General David Petraeus, then at the height of his power, was thinking of running for president. Clinton says the private system was convenient, but the emails show it was anything but. An exchange with close aide Huma Abedin reveals even the State Department help desk didn't recognize Clinton's private email address. In August 2010, Abedin writes Clinton, "They had no idea it was you, just some random address, so they emailed. Sorry about that." Why use a private, unsecure email system in the first place? Observers say it was all about privacy.
This was an act of defensiveness to try and protect some bit of their terrain from enemies that I think they feel are embedded all around them.
The email releases, which will continue through January, have taken a political toll.
I'd like to say something about the email bounce, which is what that is about, and what bullshit that is from Huma Abedin. So I read the emails, or whatever was officially released from it, and what happened is, for some reason, there was a catastrophic failure of her email server, which can mean it was offline, the backup system was offline, it could have been as simple as a DNS entry issue, but for whatever reason, it came back with a code that was catastrophic. Now, what happens in this case, when someone from the State Department sends an email to an email address that and is receiving a bounce, which means it never connects to her email system, the email, the SMTP, the mail transport agent will identify this and say, okay, I've tried for 3 days, I give up. Here's the message that did not reach its intended recipient. Now, for Huma Abedin to say to Hillary, ha, 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 they didn't know it was you, is bullshit, because the whole email comes back, not just the catastrophic error. You get the whole email back. You can read the email, which then went to, hopefully, the dudes named Ben who are cleared to read this type of stuff. And they saw it was addressed to Hillary, and they immediately sent it to Huma Abedin saying, hey, this didn't reach the recipient. They know it was meant for Hillary, but this is like, oh, they didn't know it was you. No, bull crap. Bull crap.
I agree. I think it is bull crap. But then we go to CBS, which at least, because you got all these emails, and this is reminds me of, well, I'll talk about that a little bit later, which is, I'm now under the understanding that the hack of the Office of what is it, OMC?
OPM, Office of Personnel and Management, yes.
Is that data is in the wild.
Well, there's a report that I saw it this morning on Radar Online, no less, that some hacker is saying, I have all of her emails, $500,000, and they're yours.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, this just came out this morning, which does kind of fall in line with that big rumor that I heard that it was all over for her, but I don't know if that's it. Whatever, I was wrong on the prediction based on my sources, but it could be that.
So let's go then. This is the same story, but this is done by CBS, and CBS takes a humorous tact. Now, ABC did the gefilte fish thing.
I have that if you want to hear it.
Yeah, play that.
The 4,400 emails reveal a Secretary of State who was deeply engaged in the minutiae of diplomacy and fascinated by Washington intrigue. Gefilte fish, where are we on this? She asked a pair of aides in 2010. The seemingly cryptic email referred to 9 containers of carp caught up in a trade dispute. From longtime confidant Sidney Blumenthal, she got critiques of D.C. power brokers.
Hillary Clinton under a barrage of emails she never thought would see the light of day. Under court orders, 7,100 more pages, including 125 newly classified confidential. Others are gossipy. Dinner party chatter in 2010 that General David Petraeus, then at the height of his power...
Yeah, you're right.
All right, now... CBS takes at least, they give the Blumenthal thing, they bring the Blumenthal thing in, but they give us some really juicy stuff. I think that they're indicating, CBS, by the way, is just so much better. When they do the same story the other networks, they go deeper, they're more entertaining. You'd think ABC would be more entertaining, but CBS is really funnier. So here's the CBS. This is the Clinton emails funny rundown on CBS. This is actually educational in some odd way.
Nancy Cordes went through the latest batch.
The 4,400 emails reveal a Secretary of State who was deeply engaged in the minutia of diplomacy and fascinated by Washington intrigue. Gefilte fish, where are we on this? She asked a pair of aides in 2010. The seemingly cryptic email referred to 9 containers of carp caught up in a trade dispute. From longtime confidant Sidney Blumenthal, she got critiques of D.C. power brokers. Then White House senior advisor David Axelrod has enough to do fixing the domestic messes he's made. House Speaker John Boehner, he wrote, was an alcoholic and lazy. Boehner's office responded in a statement today, saying the only reason this mishandling of classified information has been exposed is because of Speaker Boehner's decision to create the Select Committee on Benghazi. 125 of the emails in this latest batch have been retroactively marked classified because the information in them is now considered too sensitive to release to the public. The new emails show Clinton chafed from time to time at the confines of a classified computer system that could be difficult to access. In one exchange, her deputy chief of staff, Jake Sullivan, said he couldn't send her a statement from former British Prime Minister Tony Blair because it's on the classified system. Clinton responded, "It's a public statement. Just email it." Sullivan replied, "Trust me, I share your exasperation, but until Ops converts it to the unclassified email system, there is no physical way for me to email it. I can't even access it." The State Department says none of the newly released emails contained information that was considered classified at the time that Clinton received it. Intelligence officials aren't so sure, Scott, and they say regardless, that material should not have been sitting on Clinton's home server for years.
You know, is there a publicly available archive of all of these emails? The news organizations seem to have them, but where is it?
I don't know. I haven't been able to find it either. Now, if you notice that report, you heard the gefilte fish thing. It was pretty much the same reporter, but they do different versions of the stories on the Western edition. They're a little more elaborate, and that's where you get some of this crazy stuff, like about Boehner being an alcoholic. And
there is the U.S. Department of State has released some emails. I don't think
I'd love to get the Blumenthal ones.
I couldn't find, but there's something. Here's an anomaly I noticed. The email address she seems to be using she switches around. There's also, because what was it? HDR, I think, or something, that ClintonEmail.com.
HRD.
She also
HRC.
Well, she also has HROD17 at ClintonEmail.com.
I've noticed this too. I haven't thought about it, but yeah, she has about 6 or 7 different emails. She's trying to do her sorting.
So she didn't just have one; she had multiple email accounts that were different. This is not discussed. Yeah, but it's not discussed.
No, it's never discussed. Yeah, it's not like she has the one.
Right.
But that may be her way of sorting. You know, I use this email that way I can find it in mail. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's crazy. And it's probably illegal.
Yeah.
Although you do get all these apologies. Oh, no, it wasn't, she didn't do anything wrong. These Clinton apologists just get on your nerves after a while. You know, it would be so much easier if Elizabeth Warren was in. These guys would bail on Hillary so fast that you wouldn't know what hit you.
What is the Blumenthal email you'd like to see? Let me see if it's in this particular.
Any of them. I think anything with Blumenthal's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
always saying nasty stuff about people, he's her mentor.
Well,
Sidney Blumenthal.
Yeah, no, no. Oh boy, no. I said no.
No.
Okay, let's see what else I have here. Libya, latest. Yeah, they appear to be here in this particular archive. I wonder if it's all of them. Let's see. Confidential, December 10th. Sources with direct access to Libyan national government, as well as the highest level of European governments, West intelligence, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Well, I have to look at these. So the Department of State has the virtual reading room document search, and you can find Blumenthal stuff in there. But it's, well, I'll make sure to look through some of these. They look like some funny ones.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone magazine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like it.
Does anyone doubt Boehner's a drunk?
That's my favorite. Of course, that's why he's crying all the time. Oh, I love you, man. Oh, man, I love you. NBC had a separate report over these emails.
One of Hillary Clinton's top aides, Uma Abedin, is in the headlines this morning.
Again, it's the top aide. She used to be the body man. Remember when they called her that, the body man? Because that's what they call it. Reggie Love was Obama's body man. Pretty much sleeps in the same hotel suite, answers the phone.
Bed.
Whatever.
With Republican lawmakers and Donald Trump taking aim at her position and, in Trump's case, her marriage.
Over the weekend, Abedin became the target of an attack usually saved for candidates. Republican lawmakers and conservative activist groups have demanded documents related to Abedin's time at the State Department, when she also held a job with an outside private firm, raising questions, they say, about potential conflicts of interest. Now, Clinton campaign officials are defending Abedin's work at the State Department and accusing Republicans of trying to bully her. One official saying the suggestion of wrongdoing is, quote, unfounded and from partisans in Congress with a clear agenda. Now, as for Trump, Democrats and Republicans criticized him for attacking Abedin, many noting it is highly unusual for a presidential candidate to go after an advisor.
Oh, now she's an advisor. No, how about lover? We're missing the key phrase that pays. Her lover.
Incredible.
I don't understand why she just doesn't come out and say it. It would endear her.
Get elected. If she gets killed on the election, in other words, thrown out of the election by some other scandal. I mean, they're just, and if you notice that report, even on CBS, they said, well, it's not a big deal because she didn't have any classified stuff. And then it always follows, especially on CBS, with the phrase, but the intelligence community disagrees.
Right.
It's the intelligence community.
Yeah.
Whoever that intelligence community is specifically, that's after Hillary.
Also, by law,
they know that they cannot let her get into the presidency.
No. Oh, no. And by law, information is classified by nature, not by stamp. By nature. A very important distinction. There was one
weasel her way out of this, and they just will not let it go. It's hurting her, and most of the news reports say that it's hurting her, especially in Iowa.
Well, there's something else that I don't know if it's getting any legs. I don't know if you heard about it. The Project Veritas, those are the guys who did the undercover video exposing NPR taking money, like almost bribes.
Yeah, those guys.
So they went undercover at a Hillary rally, and they got on video and audio her national marketing director, and I believe in her national campaign director is there as well. So you could buy Hillary buttons and stuff, and you get the donation. The donation goes in. You get a rainbow button. God, I didn't know she was selling rainbow buttons. Okay, rainbow button and a hat. And then this woman from Scandinavia shows up, and they correctly cite the rules, saying, "No, I'm sorry. You cannot." You cannot buy this. You can't contribute because there's rules and it's the Federal Election Committee and we can't accept your money. And then listen what happens.
Hey, Aaron, wait, before you take another person, so she's Canadian, and so we can't take. Do you have a green card or a U.S. passport?
Is this audible for you? Can you hear it?
Barely. All I heard was the word green card.
Yeah, do you have a green card or some other U.S. document?
No, I'm Canadian. Sure. So we can't take contributions from anyone that's not a citizen of the United States.
But she traveled all the way from Canada to support Hillary. You could give her. She's paying cash.
Okay. Are you serious? It's not my rule. I'm very sorry.
So she's clear. It's not my rule. Federal Election Commission.
I'll be talking about it. I get it. It's the Federal Election Commission requires.
Can I give her the money? She's an American and she can buy it for me.
She could make a donation.
Okay. Buy it for me? Sure, I'll buy it. She's buying it. So Canadians can't buy them, but Americans can buy it for them?
Not technically. You would just be making the donation.
Oh, okay.
So right on the spot, someone else says, well, I'll take her money. I'll give it to you. Then it's okay. Oh, that's fine. That's not technically, because the donation would be to you, but it's okay that way, which shows you the corruptness This is how it works. I'll just give it to some American guy or an American nonprofit or a super PAC. This is illegal.
Yeah, technically.
Technically or not, it's illegal.
Yeah, well.
And it's not like these aren't her top people saying this, you know? And by the way, yes, I said it. Gefilte fish has got to be code.
Oh, that's interesting. You just came up with that.
No, I thought about it. Yeah. And I thought, I looked at this particular email. And the gefilte fish, her comment is, where are we on this? So to me, this
you're right.
Is it real? Is it really a shipping container of gefilte fish, or is it a load of cocaine? And I haven't found a real good drug reference for gefilte fish, but I'm pretty sure it's code. It's code for something other than actual fish.
Yeah, code. You say gefilte fish. Where are we on this? Is about some project.
Project gefilte fish.
The project, yeah, it could be a
mission gefilte fish.
Have something to do with the Jewish vote.
Yeah, there's your code right there. Bibi Netanyahu, i.e., Project Gefilte Fish. Yeah, and then quickly it's all explained away. Why was the gefilte fish container held up? Why? No one has gone into that. Oh, this was about some container of gefilte fish. Now, or was it cod? Cod or whatever they use for that.
Yeah, that sounds lame.
And
why would she give it? Well, they're trying to. I don't know that. Yeah, you're right. It's misreporting.
But it was like, it was a different tariff on this type of fish. It sounds fishy to me.
Da-dump.
I'm sorry.
All right. So I do this. We'll get a little bit into the three networks and the three stories.
Okay.
The networks do not all play the exact same stories. They mostly do. I mean, there's the universal stories, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Were it's on Monday. Hillary's got in all the news stories. There is 2 out of the 3 networks talk about the Ukrainian violence. They all talk about Wall Street. They all except one mentioned Deflategate as usually in a secondary block. NBC ran it in the A block. CBS ran it into the B block. And actually, they had a better. CBS it's just a better news broadcast. They, instead of just talking about Deflategate as a stupid story that it is and nobody cares, they talk about the poor artist who keeps drawing these gruesome pictures of Brady and her. They're very short. These stories in the B block at CBS are just like 30 seconds.
Well, it's the B block. It's supposed to be short.
Well, the B block often is just one story. On August 31st, the B block was one story on peanut allergies on NBC. It was 2 stories on CBS. It was The Man Falls to Death and Deflategate artist. ABC, 1 story, Man Falls to Death. So that was like, that's another one of these breaking stories. But the story that's on ABC that's interesting, that the other networks refuse to pick up on, and is I think it's somewhat controversial, because if you listen to the clip about this, and I don't know if you even know about this story, but this took place I guess it was in San Antonio.
San Antonio, yeah.
Some guy, and only ABC is covering this, and they've covered it with follow-ups. Nobody else is picking it up. Some fat guy who just beat up his girlfriend or something was out front.
He came out and the cops shot him, and then later they said, "Well, you can't." Well, do I give it away, or does the clip explain?
Well, let's play the clip. It's San Antonio, Part 1, ABC.
Tonight, the FBI is investigating images out of San Antonio, Texas. It appears that you can see in the video here a man with his hands up in the air, then 2 sheriff's deputies opening fire. The victim falling to the ground. He did not survive. Those officers now on administrative leave and under scrutiny. Many asking why, for 3 minutes afterward, did they not give that victim any medical help? ABC's Matt Gutman in Texas.
It seemed a routine domestic incident in this San Antonio neighborhood. In that video, purchased by ABC affiliate KSAT, we see police trying to corner a suspect, 41-year-old Gilbert Flores. Finally, he appears to obey orders, surrendering, arms in the air. Then, without warning, the deputies draw their weapons and watch again.
All right, that's the first part of this clip.
Right.
Did you notice the little no deal very short mention, casually mentioned, but they did mention it, that is keeping the other two networks away.
No, explain.
Purchased video.
Ah, very good. That's why it was only on ABC. Huh.
So and now there's no discussion of this, but
paying people for news, always sketchy.
Always sketchy, and this is what the Inquirer does. That's why they get a lot of scoops nobody gets, because they pay people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very controversial aspect of journalism. Paying people for, it's like you get an informant, you slip them a 20, you give them a 50, you give them a check.
Yeah.
You pay them. This is what they did here. And now the other two networks that seemingly, unless this catches on, and it hasn't, even though it's been running for 2 days now, and it's a police killing of some fat guy with no shirt on with his arms in the air, and they gunned him down, is not getting any traction whatsoever because of,
the purchase video.
Yeah, because of the purchase video. Now you can play part 2 of this, and this is kind of where we are. I think this is still the intro. I don't think I have the follow-up, but it's not much different.
A telephone pole seems to obscure Flores' left arm. You can see a deputy flip him over. But for the next 3 minutes, no one appears to administer first aid. Flores died later at a hospital. But the Bexar County Sheriff's Office said he had threatened them with a knife. And it claims he attacked his girlfriend and an 18-month-old. After the shooting, one of the sheriff's first moves was to blast KSAT for airing the video, going on social media to call it unethical and urging citizens to call the station to complain.
What do you think of the conduct of your officers?
Well, certainly it is disturbing. It's cause for concern. And the important thing is that we look at all of the evidence.
The shooting is now being investigated by the FBI's Civil Rights Division, and key to its case could be a second video shot by one of these neighbors from much closer. Now, the sheriff's office says it has the video, David, but won't release it.
Won't release it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. But if all networks were on it, we'd know, because there'd be so much pressure to do this and that. But these other two networks have decided, we're not going to do this. We're not doing this story. And so it's not getting the traction that the story of the killings of the two reporters got, because everyone was on all over that. You got to get all three networks in on these things to make it a national.
If you want to make it a national story. Ben, I have some news on cops and cop killing, not them killing, but being killed. And I would like to do that in the B block, if that's okay with you.
We're already in the C block, so that's kind of a problem.
Stand by. We're moving it from C to D, C to Delta. Delta block for the follow-up.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda.
All right, we do have a few people to thank, starting with Tina Snyder in Austin, Texas, 14644.
Hey, Tina.
Yes.
Oh.
And she wrote a note I guess we might as well read.
Well, why don't you read it to me?
My contribution of 14644.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Don't do that voice, man. Don't be a dick.
My contribution of 14644 in honor of Adam's birthday. 93.
She sounds really like a husky woman the way you say it. This is not good. I don't like it.
Secure my place.
There you
in
go.
The
She's from Chicago.
Club.
She's from Chicago. Do it in Chicago.
She's in Texas.
She's from Chicago.
My Texas voice is better than Chicago. Mile High Club, 5280. Also, I wanted to call out my sisters, Lisa, Angie, and... Isn't there another one? Tori?
Yeah, hold on. Lisa, Angie, and Tony.
As well as my brother-in-law, Rob,
Tim. Oh, here we go.
As all douchebags. I know they enjoy the show. So it's time for them to pay up. Can I get a little girl yay and throw in some karma for good matters? Also, please have Adam choose one more jingle for me.
Oh, boy, that's dangerous.
Thanks for making me laugh, she continues. I thoroughly enjoy the show and hope to meet me, that is, in IRL.
In real life.
No problem. I'll be there.
Hey, is this a good woman or what? No, I can't remember any. She's a keeper. Not only does she pack light, But she donates to the show.
Yeah, well, the packing light I would put high priority on.
I love this one. She's great.
Yay! Tell me about the sexuality. It's in your DNA.
You've got
There you go.
karma.
Tina the she has a new nickname according to the chat room. Tina the Keeper.
Tina the Keeper. And she'd be keeping you. Nico DeHaan.
Hey, that's our knight, Sir Nico.
Sir Nico. And what is this?
Bel Air, Florida.
Bel Air, Florida, 122. Carolyn Pete.
Hold on, let's see what he says. He's also his birthday.
Yeah, he's on the birthday list.
He'll be 71?
Yeah,
My God, this guy he still wins martial arts competitions. This guy's fantastic.
Kick-ass guy.
Heck yeah.
Carolyn Pete, 120. And she did send a note, another handwritten longhand note. Dear John and Adam, encloses 120, which should put my wonderful husband, David Pete, over the top for knighthood.
All right.
And September the 2nd is our 20th anniversary, and this is my gift to him. And please name him. Get your pen out.
Hold on. Yes.
Sir David, the Texas Home Pro.
Okay. Sir David. Hold on.
She's crossed something out here. It said horny, but she changed it to home.
The Texas Home Pro. Okay.
You guys are the greatest.
Aww.
We could use some real estate karma. We'll put some in the end for you.
Yep, sure.
There you go. Sir Patrick Coble.
Oh, I need to read a note first. Why don't you read hers? Because yours, Z.
I went to lunch with him. I took him to of all places. Anyone who's ever been in the San Francisco Bay Area or lived in the Berkeley area in particular know this place, and I decided to take him there. Juan's.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Juan's to have some Mexican food, and we talked about hacking stuff. He's here for the VMware.
Was he on his Ducati 850?
No, he's not going to drive that out here.
Why not?
In fact, he's taking Uber. He didn't even rent a car.
This is far cry from the Ducati. Okay.
Yeah, he looks like a Ducati guy. So it was great. It was great. And he contributed $101. And he's from, Murfreesboro or one of those places in Tennessee.
Around Nashville.
Nashville.
I received a beautiful gift from him.
I got the gift finally. Showed up.
Did you get the same gift?
I don't know. What's your gift?
Well, I got a note. I have a note sealed with his night ring and the No Agenda sealing wax. It says, ITM Adam, hope you like your illegal books.
Yeah, same exact note.
What books did you get?
I got Steal This Book, original copy.
Yeah. Did you get it? Is yours autographed?
It appeared to be in a fire.
Mine was autographed by Abby Hoffman.
I don't believe mine was.
Yeah. Which is a book that now that I've read through it again, has influenced me hugely. I remember reading this in the American Women's Club library when I was 8 or 9 years old. Just seeing some of the pictures reminded me of the things that I noticed back then as a kid, and specifically the chapter about radio and pirate radio. I think was of huge influence on me.
Huh. There you go.
Did you get another book? I got 2.
Yeah, I got the Anarchist Cookbook.
Now, I had not read this. It's a hard copy, but I guess it's a reprint hard copy.
Redo, right. Yeah. Now, some guys.
This is the thing that everyone's so upset about?
It's dumb.
It's not only dumb, it's idiotic. and so there's a whole, it's all about anarchism, and there's a whole foreword that, let me see, I had some introduction, actually. There will never be a traditional revolution in this country in the sense of Russian or French revolutions. The revolution in this country has already started. It is a multifaceted battle on many different fronts. It is a battle politically between the young freedom fighters in Chicago and the stagnant system, represented by arthritic old men making laws they do not understand and making wars they have no feeling for. It is a battle between the poor blacks and the rich employers, a battle between the artists and the censors, a battle between the Black Panthers and the debris lying around, the Black Panthers and the police, a battle between the welfare mother and the bureaucracy. This is really an original Occupy Wall Street type document. And yet somehow this has now been morphed into terrorists
That's a horrible. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And if, in fact, that anyone would have this book would be considered a terrorist is ludicrous.
Yes.
And the description of this so-called, revolution that's underway, I think, is best exemplified by a clip you had earlier in the show. The rule follower guy. Play that.
Yeah, hold on. It's so true. The rule follower. Here we go. This is the rule follower, everybody.
A little harsh, but you gotta live with it. There are rules in the world, so you kind of have to follow them.
I'm a rule follower, so if the rule is that we have to do it, then I'll do it.
Now, there's three main chapters. The first one is all about drugs, how to get it, how to make it, how to sell it, how to profit from it. It's just drugs. Then the second is electronic sabotage and surveillance. And it's really crude drawings of, it's kind of crap. If anything, it would be like the Project Veritas guys might have learned nothing from it. And then the last one is explosives and booby traps. And, it's like this, it's also very crude. This, you look at this, like, it's not really a fantastic, guide to making any bombs. I do like these little quotes they have in the explosives and booby traps. The most heroic word in all languages is revolution. That's Eugene Debs. And they had, I think, an Abraham Lincoln quote somewhere. I should have marked this. But you know what? To say that this is a dangerous book is bull. It's bull.
Bullshit.
Yeah, like they're showing rifles and stuff. Big deal.
It's lame. Lame is the word I
Sir
use.
Patrick, thank you very much for these illegal books, particularly the Abby Hoffman Steal This Book, which I've been looking to get a copy of for a long time, and I really like that it's autographed. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lon Baker, parts unknown, $100. Brent Dombrowski in Colorado Springs, Colorado, 93. He's included a birthday thing in there. A couple of them, one for himself and some for you.
Yep.
Ryan Holzapfel in Cedar Falls, Iowa.
He's a college student.
5569. Sean Regalado. Is that right? Yeah, Regalado. And he's in, what is this? Saranac Lake, New York, 5510. Saranac, that's upstate, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Young, 5280 in Upton, Massachusetts. These are the last vestiges of the Mile High Club. There's Dame Tanya Wyman, who's now joined the Mile High Club.
Welcome to the club, Dame Tanya.
New York City.
Mm-hmm.
She has a nice sling box there. I haven't looked at it for a while. Joe Wagner in Atlanta, Georgia, 5280. William Anderson in Garland, Texas, 5280. Stephen Hutton in Denver, Colorado, 5280. And we go from there to Happy Birthday, Adam. Now, these are 5193s for the creative people that decide not just to go along with the rules and do 51. They added the 9.
They are not rule followers.
They're not rule followers. And starting with Sir Herb Lamb in Sugar Hill, Georgia. Jean-Claude Schmid in Tustin, California. And Thomas Gruska in West Seneca, New York, 5133. Now, the rest of these people are, to insult them, but they're rule followers, or they just did the easy thing, which is click on the box. Colvin Sloman in London, UK, $51. These are all $51. Richard Chan in Fullerton, California. Youssef Hegazi in Plymouth, Michigan. These are all happy birthdays. Kevin Grant in Vancouver, BC. Trevor Mudge, Sir Trevor Mudge, I believe, in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Ingrid Jackson in Boston, Massachusetts. Sir Christopher Walker in De Pere, Wisconsin. Chuck Waters in Schaumburg, Illinois. Buddy down the street, Nicholas Stowe in Austin, Texas. Roger Esty in Palm Harbor, Florida. Sir Jim Mann in Ringgold, Louisiana. Michael Appenhag. Didn't we just read his name earlier?
No, that was Schmuckenapfel.
It's Aspenhag.
That's a different guy. It's a Schmuckenapfel. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
In someplace. You can try it. I can't do it.
I'm not going to try.
Donald Winkler in Berlin, Deutschland. Dame Francine Hardaway says, happy birthday, and she's over in Half Moon Bay.
Thank you, Dame.
We should do a meetup in the Bay Area. I want to take the train to the Train Museum. Ryan Martinez in Seattle, Washington. E. Ponfort in Haarlem.
Close enough. Ponfort.
Steve Marchi in San Jose, California. Sir Robert Goshko in Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. Armando Guerra.
Hey, Armando.
Your buddy, the mailman in Bee Cave, Texas.
The postal carrier.
And you should, by the way, go to the Bee Cave
barbecue
trailer. It's an Airstream, I believe.
Yep.
They have the best brisket around. Gilles Pavot in Paris.
Hey, bonjour, Gilles.
Yes, it's great that we have somebody in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle Piper in Omaha, Nebraska. PIE. Norman McDonough in Woodstock, Ontario. You got a lot of well-wishers.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Foster.
I'm loved far and wide, John.
In Trimble, Missouri. Kevin McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina. What a name for a town. Joey Redmond in Los Angeles, California. Gregory Worley in Evanston, Virginia. Sir Borislav Marinov in Trabuco Canyon, California. Christopher Tropp in Sturgis, Michigan.
Cool, Sturgis.
And then we have Scott Thompson with a birthday of his own. His wife, Jolia, tamer of the birds and other wild animals, shares your birthday. She's going to be 37. Another co-birthday.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. Michael Hintz in Everett, Massachusetts. C Squared Productions in Auburn, Pennsylvania. Tyler Sink in Benton, Illinois. Antonio Sanchez Godinez in Madrid, Spain. Jason Daniels in Dallas, Texas. Carrie. Is it Carrie or Carl? Carrie. It's Carrie, isn't it? Or Carl? No, it's Carl. Carl Madden in Enfield, Middlesex, UK. Pre-Night of the Living Dead. Unknown person in Buxton, Derbyshire, another UK listener, supporter. Happy birthday, well-wisher. Philippine Vlasman Vinke.
Philippine Vlasman Vinke.
Exactly.
In Hulshorst.
Pedro Vaz in Coimbra, Portugal. Jacobson Christian in some county in the middle of nowhere.
Taiwan.
He's in Taiwan.
Tuyan City.
Daowan.
We need a pronunciation guide.
Well, I did. Tao is Dao and Wan is Wan. Alexander Schulzberger, I'm sure it's pronounced some crazy way anyway. Alexander Schulzberger in Deutschland. I don't know, what is that? Alter? I don't know that town. Sir Barry Coggins, parts unknown. And he's, by the way, not a birthday well-wisher. He comes in at $50.27. And the rest, that was all your birthday well-wishers. You can count them up to quite a few. 20, 30, I don't know.
Thank you very much. I feel extremely birthday-ish.
You should be, because it's your birthday, and it's the big 5-1. Here's the $50 donors. We're going to finish these guys off by naming them town and country. Terry Niebling in La Crescent, Minnesota. Kevin Johnson, KJ, in Phoenix, Arizona. I think is a night. Alejandro Vasquez in Denver, Colorado. Keith Powell in New South Wales, UK. We have a lot of Brits in today. Thank you. Stephen Milliken, parts unknown. Justin Barber, not Justin Bieber, in Los Angeles, California. Robert Amanola in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sir Shane Rozditsky.
Dilsky.
Oh, right. I always say that, don't I?
Oh, that's the monitor.
No, I've always said that. I always say Rozditsky. I said Rozdilsky. In Saskatoon, My favorite place I've never been to. That in Perth. Eric Miller, Norwalk, Connecticut. Dustin Martin in Salem, Oregon. And getting to the end here, Brian Morton in Casper, Wyoming. Great place. And finally, last but not least, of course, Sir Alan Bean over here in Oaktown, Oakland, California.
Wow, nice list. Thank you, everybody. It really makes me feel like it's my birthday. Woke up. Yeah, you look at the Facebook things like...
Let's have another birthday next week.
I did receive from someone a note that my birth date is an 8 of diamonds. And I was all excited about it because the explanation is all 8s are power, but with the 8 of diamonds, their need for power is in the material realm, really. The 8 of diamond people are very independent, at times domineering and exacting. Their sense of balance is naturally directed towards values and material assets. They
value.
Yes, they usually know when and what to buy and what it's worth. Exactly. 8 of diamonds are the manifestation of the creative principle, the sun. They have the ability to overcome all obstacles and conquer all enemies. As a rule, trust and confidence may be freely given them. They are wise guardians of the goods of the dead and wise conservers of the interests of the living. They will serve honestly and faithfully, often at their own expense. And I thought to myself, that sounds pretty accurate.
I think so, too. In fact, now I know who to give my mom's ashes to.
I will take good care of them.
Yes.
I'm getting one of those Keith Richards tattoos of your mom's ashes. You have your mom's ashes?
Yeah.
Oh, my mom made me strew them around.
No, I got them. They're over at the other house that Buzzkill Jr. now resides in.
So I was really happy. I'm like, this is cool because it's different dates. It's not all in September. It's not a Virgo thing. It's January 19th, Capricorn, February 17th, Aquarius, March 15th, April 13th, May 11th, June 9th, July 7th, August 5th, September 3rd, October 1st as well. So then I looked at the list of famous 8 of diamonds people. Then it starts off Dolly Parton. I'm like, okay, that's good. Edgar Allan Poe. I'm like,
big
okay.
hair, big front.
Right? Edgar Allan Poe. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty good, yeah. But then the rest of the list,
let me guess,
had me a little worried. No. Paris Hilton.
That's figures, yeah, I can see that.
Denise Richards.
Same thing, yeah.
Sly Stone.
Oh, there you go.
Al Green.
Al Green's great.
Thomas Jefferson.
There you go. Now you're back on track.
Salvador Dali.
Perfect.
Martha Graham. But then we go Johnny. But then we go to Johnny Depp, Ringo Starr, John Huston, and now we're going downhill. Charlie Sheen and Randy Quaid.
Oh no! I can see all of these people being interconnected with you and your personality.
Thank you, everybody. I highly appreciate it. Thanks to all our donors under $50 for reasons of anonymity or monthly subscriptions. We really do appreciate you keeping our show on the road.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Amen. Fist bump.
Besides myself, celebrating Joe Wagner. Joe Wagner, who'll be 37, turned 37 yesterday. Scott Thompson says happy birthday to his wife, Jolie, 37 today. Brent Dombrowski, celebrating today. Susie Hoiboer, 35 today. Ingrid Jackson says happy birthday to Simon Moon, 53 on the 5th. And Nico DeHaan, celebrating on September 12th. He'll be 71 years old and still kicking massive ass. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe. And then we have a change in title. Sir Christopher Walker, who we heard donate earlier, becomes a baron today with his third knighthood. So that's the Baron of Brown County. Very happy to bestow that title upon him. Then we have 3 knighthoods. I need on stage Errol Maynard, Brian Morton, and David Pete. If you could grab... Thank you. That's John's blade. Let me get mine. Okay. I pulled the short. Let me get the long one. There we go. Harold Maynard, Brian Morton, David Pete, congratulations for supporting the best podcast in the universe. The amount of $1,000 or more, I hereby proudly pronosticate thee Sir Influence of Sugar City, Order of the Palindrome. Sir Led. God damn. What happened? John, stop with the rain stick. You're confusing me. You're ruining the ceremony. Errol Maynard becomes Sir Influence of Sugar City, Order of the Palindrome. Brian Morton becomes Sir Lead, and David Pete becomes Sir David, the Texas Home Pro. For you, gentlemen, we have DMT and Astral Travel, Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Black Hose and MD 2020, Drams and DMT, Root Beer and Pepperoni Pizza, Cuban Cigars and Single Malt Scotch, Long-Haired Heavy Metal Guys, and whiskey, and, of course, we've always got the mutton and mead there. Whew! Don't be shaking that stick, man. But I would, it's always the tail end.
I have a suggestion.
I'm all ears.
The list of which is longer than what you read. You could probably spend 5 minutes reading the long list of things you get.
Yes, I could create a book.
There are dupes in there.
No, there's not.
DMT showed up twice, and I know Hookers has showed up twice.
No, but it's not. It's not a dupe. It's two separate ones. There's DMT and Drams, and then there's DMT and Astral Travel.
See, this is like you're getting 2 doses of DMT in that particular.
And boy,
you did it.
I love you, man.
I don't think that this is right.
Okay, we should purge the list.
Well, I think a couple of things. Just the dupes. You did the same thing in the last show. You had Hookers twice.
I hate it when I have Hookers twice.
Well,
it's so unfair to the rest of the class. I'll make sure we don't do that.
I just catches my ear. All right, can we go and do my little pet peeve? It's not a pet peeve. It's actually an observation. I make it constantly. Okay. And do our native ads, our hot native ads that came out this week on the networks.
Okay. Hot native ads. Native ads from the 3x3.
First of all, the native ad that actually I'm going to start with, every Monday in the C block, ABC News with David or Donald Muir, whatever his first name is.
Pete
Muir.
Michael Muir.
He does a native ad. Mm-hmm. Now, the Today Show, I've noticed this before, but I haven't made it part of the regular native ads. I want to see can you spot. This is like an Ask Adam. I want to know if you can.
Is this going to be really hard for me to spot?
This is the Today Show native ad. Before you play it, I'm going to ask you got to concentrate because this is going to be a tough one to spot.
Okay.
Well, there's a big change coming to McDonald's. Starting on October 6th, it will offer all-day breakfast. The move got final approval on Tuesday when the Franchisee Leadership Council okayed it. McDonald's began testing the idea in some markets about 6 months ago with things like Egg McMuffins any time of the day. The company says all-day breakfast is something customers have asked for years. Finally.
I think we need a leadership council.
Finally.
Who can determine what we have for breakfast.
The Leadership Council.
Yes. The Leadership Council. But good to see him. The meeting will now come to order. Okay, Dvorak, what you got on the what you got on your docket there, Dvorak?
I think we should have French fries all day.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Curry, what you got? I think it would be great to have I don't know. I forgot. Great Leadership Council. Pathetic. Okay.
It is pathetic.
All right. The next one. You have an ABC C Block Monday native ad?
Yeah, I do. Where is it? I
have it. It's C Block Monday native ad.
Oh, there it is. So, duh. Now, I want to set this up again. This is like the C Block on Mondays on ABC. Generally, they can be of various sorts. They can be 3 stories, 3 short. They're all short. Mm-hmm. 3 short stories. In this case, it was 3 stories. 2 of them have often been native ads. I think there may be 2 native ads in here, but I can't say for sure because the 2 stories that would be native ads are not done on any of the other networks.
Okay.
This ends with the shark story, which
single network buy, or maybe it's a make good.
Well, you play it out and you can tell me. One's obvious, the other one's less so.
To the index of other news tonight, the best and worst states for drivers. The top 3, Idaho, Vermont, and Wyoming. Short commutes, low insurance costs, and low auto theft. The worst states, Louisiana and Texas, because of the high number of fatalities. And California, of course, with those very long commutes. The popular ice cream Blue Bell yanked from shelves after that deadly listeria outbreak earlier this year. Tonight, back in some stores across Texas and Alabama now. Blue Bell assuring customers that their product is now safe. 2 close calls with sharks in Southern California and La Jolla.
Is it Shark Week again?
Well, I was thinking it's Shark Week.
Which has already come and gone, as far as I know.
And maybe it was just a nice shot of a hammerhead close to the surface. It was dynamite.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Big hammerhead goes by. I mean, that's a spectacular looking animal.
Yeah. Now, this, of course, has been big news here. It's very big. Very
there's
big.
a lot of shark stories on all the networks, so I don't think that was a Shark Week thing. But the bluebells obviously are buying. Nobody else covered that story. And the other story about the bad places to drive, Texas. Because it's so dangerous.
It's not. That's bullcrap. It's super safe in Texas.
Well, that's what they said.
Yeah.
They don't lie.
Oh, it's safe. Okay. Well, all right.
But anyway, and this is always on Monday. It's always the C Block, and it's always the David Muir. And it's just, okay. Well,
while you were doing your 3x3, John, I spent some time and I watched the MTV Video Music Awards.
Yes. Now, I want to ask you a couple of things, because I didn't watch them. I probably should have. But I didn't. And everybody says it was very disappointing. The ratings were way down. I think they're trying to kill these things.
Ratings were not way down. Certainly not if you look at all the networks that it airs on. That's, I think the numbers were a little off, but it was down. But I would say it's not way down.
That's what they said.
Yeah. And I would like to share with everyone that back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, when I was on Le Chanel, the VJs were not invited to the Video Music Awards. Then they were usually out in Los Angeles, and if we wanted to go, we could. They would give us a ticket in the audience, but you had to fly yourself out and put yourself.
Really?
Up. Yep.
Why?
Because they're assholes.
The VJs who made the network.
No, assholes. It was the news division who produced that, and they hated us.
Why?
Because they hated us. Because
could you get the girls?
Well, there's that. All the ones in Alaska. So I always watch this with a little bit of disdain, just because I know. And
I've never been invited back.
No, that's for sure. Yeah.
You burned your bridge. This is one of the few examples where you can actually exemplify burning your bridges with what happened to you.
Well, hold on. They sued me after I left, and then I countersued, and then we settled. So, about the MTV.com domain
That's
name.
called a burned bridge.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now, first of all, I will say that I think that Miley Cyrus, who hosted the show, did a fine job. All she had to do is exactly what she did, is change outfits every single shot, and the one was nuttier than the next. And she was, bubbly and happy, better than most morons who have hosted this thing.
Good.
So I like that a lot. Now, here's the big problem. I did not watch it on Sunday. I watched it on Monday. I had recorded it. And Michael Jackson originally received the Video Vanguard of the Year award. And if you look on YouTube for Adam Curry Michael Jackson, you'll see where we named it. It actually was named, it was supposed to always be the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. That was the official name. And it was because of that naming and giving the first one to him that he agreed to perform on the Video Music Awards and give us a debut of one of his videos. They have now dropped that. They've dropped the Michael Jackson from it, which I find to be probably a breach of contract, but also just, you're pissing on Jackson's legacy. I don't like that. They gave it to Kanye West. And Kanye, like throughout the show, particularly Miley, but even little vignettes throughout the show, it was all about smoking marijuana. Everybody had a marijuana reference. They had little acted bits with Miley and some rappers, all about marijuana. It was all about marijuana. And then Kanye West comes on. This is where he announced he was running for president. John, for 8 minutes, he's saying nothing. His mouth is open. There's words coming out.
There's a transcript of this, and it's hilarious.
Then at one point he says, well, if anyone wants to know if I smoked some Mary Jane before this, yes, I did. Yeah, no shit. And because of that, I didn't get the last 5 or 6 minutes of the show because
it ran over because of
the stupid Kanye. Now, but I was really done at the beginning, because when Nicki Minaj started, and I like Nicki Minaj, I think she's very entertaining to look at. And if you have not seen the video for Anaconda, you definitely need to see it. And she performed that live, and Taylor Swift came on. But from the opening shot, they had all these dudes, like buff guys. And so you had black guys in the back, really dark, almost like Somali dark. And then you had, white guys in the front. And I'm looking, it's like they had their abs airbrushed onto their chest and their stomachs.
Yeah.
It was airbrushed abs. Like, oh my God, this is so fake. The whole show. And there was no music. Yeah, there was music, but all bubblegum crap and just completely musically the show is uninteresting. It's nice for the kids and everything. And I have one clip from Taylor Swift and her just to give you the level of idiocy.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know there's been a lot of discussion about this video and what it means, but I'm just happy that in 2015 we live in a world where boys can play princesses and girls can play soldiers. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's the highlight for me right there.
Yeah. Well, why don't she just why don't she join the army?
Yeah. No, that's her video, Bad Blood, and she's like a ninja with her. She had an implant. She got a boob job.
Oh, she did finally?
Yeah, small ones. They're probably not much above A. They're cute. They're cute.
Well, she has to be careful. She looked ridiculous if she got big monsters.
Yeah. Now, there's something else, and this is for my D block here. We're seeing, if not a true wave of police officers being killed, we are certainly seeing the media discussing this. And I wanted to delve into that a little.
Police officers across the U.S. have their guard up even more than usual. The Fraternal Order of Police tells us ambush attacks aimed at the killing or injuring of officers have risen dramatically in the last few years. But it's the string of killings of officers in recent weeks that's really got the law enforcement community on edge. Lieutenant Joe Glinowitz gunned down while on patrol in Illinois. Texas Sheriff's Deputy Darren Goforth dies in a hail of 15 bullets. Louisiana State Trooper Stephen Vincent shot in the head, then taunted after stopping to help a stranded motorist. Cold-blooded murders that add to a horrifying recent pattern. 7 law enforcement officers shot to death in a month. 24 officers shot and killed so far this year across America. Police union officials and law enforcement experts say several factors have formed a so-called perfect storm of hostility toward police. The string of police brutality cases like Eric Garner's death and the killing of Walter Scott, shot in the back by a South Carolina policeman, have fanned the anger against cops. Police advocates say a saturation of media coverage has contributed to the spike, and they believe civil rights groups bear some responsibility. That chant from Black Lives Matter protesters this week in Minnesota angered many in law enforcement. Police advocates say officers may be more hesitant to respond strongly to threats, like in one recent case in Alabama, where a detective says he didn't want to be the next cop scrutinized in the media.
Didn't act by his own admission when the perpetrator bowled his way out of the car, took the officer's weapon and pistol whipped him almost to death with it.
So you'd think that maybe there's some kind of, and there's some evidence for this. That we have black groups, Black Lives Matters groups, who are targeting police, and there are videos out there. There's all kinds of podcasts, and they're talking about killing the police, which is kind of a throwback to 60s. Yeah, hearing very, very similar language, but there's something that is kind of sliding in, and I want us all to pay attention to it. And I believe it's based upon a recent report just from 6 weeks ago, which is a report to the Office of University Programs, Science and Technology Directorate, U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The report titled Understanding Law Enforcement Intelligent Processes. And it's not a very long report. I have it marked up in the show notes at 753.noagendanotes.com. Then they did a survey through START, that is the National Consortium for the Study of Terrorism and Responses to Terrorism, which is supported in part by the Science and Technology Director of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. And in this, they look at data collected and shared between SLT, which is state, local, and tribal LEOs, law enforcement agencies. While there's some uncertainty among SLT law enforcement about current terrorism threats, there's certainty that these threats evolve in a largely unpredictable pattern. As a result, there is an ongoing need for consistent and effective information collection, analysis, and sharing. Of course, we know this Little information is known about perceptions of how information is being shared between agencies and whether technologies have improved or hurt information sharing. And little is known about whether agencies think they are currently prepared for a terrorist attack. The key factors distinguishing those that think they are compared to those who do not. The study was designed to address these issues, and a better understanding of these issues could significantly enhance intelligence practices and enhance public safety. So the rest of the document is a lot about methodology and how they came up. Well, actually, I'll read the first line here. To develop a better understanding of perceptions about terrorist threats that SLT agencies face and their efforts to prevent terrorism, and research team distributed questionnaires via a web design survey, which would be SurveyMonkey, I guess, to 2 separate groups of law enforcement personnel. So they did A/B testing, et cetera, and all the stuff you would expect. Now, perception of terrorist threats, and they have a list here. And I would like to ask you right off the bat, who do you think the SLT LEOs see, and this is on a scale of 1 to 4, who is the top, what group is the top threat of extremist activity and terrorism in the United States?
Well, extremism and terrorism, in the sense that's made all the news, you'd have to say Islamist extremists.
Well, that is number 2. That is not number 1. There. But let me give you the top 10 here, going for actually top 12, I think. Millennial and doomsday cults get a 2.17, a 1 of 4.
Is that 1?
No, that's the bottom of the list.
Oh, you're going to go backwards?
Backwards, of course.
All right, give us a number then.
It's a top 10 countdown.
Yeah, well, you usually have to go number 12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's number 16. Number 16, millennial/doomsday cults. Number 15, idiosyncratic sectarians. Number 14, Christian identity. Number 13, extreme anti-immigration. Number, 12, extreme anti-tax. Number 11, black nationalists. There they are. Number 11, not even cracking the top 10. But now, cracking the top 10, up from number 11 last week, everybody, on our top 15 countdown, extreme anti-abortion. Number 9, am I number 9? Number 10. Wait, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 10, 9. Left-wing revolutionaries. Then comes Ku Klux Klan. Then comes extreme environmentalists, which will be lefties. Then we get extreme animal rightists, neo-Nazis, racist skinheads, militia/patriot, Islamic extremist jihadists, and number 1, topping this list, up from number 7 from last year, everybody, sovereign citizens. The number 1 risk. Now, this, you could not make it any more Orwellian to have a term as sovereign citizens, which
the sovereign citizen movement isn't a terrorist centric.
I think
they just want to be left alone. And
I think you are wrong, Mr. Dvorak. You are wrong. I went to the official, where all the news agencies go, to the group that has, what is it now, $600 million they have in this nonprofit, the Southern Poverty Law Center. Yes, it's hundreds of millions of dollars they have, this nonprofit, to come up with things like this. This is Chief Bob Powdert of the Arkansas Police Department.
I'm Bob Powdert, Chief of the West Memphis Police Department. My officers, Bill and my son Brandon, didn't realize that there are people at war with this country that are not international terrorists. They are seemingly ordinary people, just like you and me, but they don't recognize the federal government's authority to impose laws or taxes on them. They're known as sovereign citizens. Their beliefs may sound so out there that they appear comical or crazy, but don't discount or ignore these people, because they're willing to kill and be killed for these beliefs. We as law enforcement officers need to recognize this very real threat so we can protect ourselves. And maybe if Brandon and Bill had been able to recognize the warning signs of sovereign beliefs, they'd be alive today.
So, very sad. This is, you'll recall, it was the father and son who were pulled over for a traffic stop, and they wound up killing the 2 cops, one apparently, which was the son of the chief of police there of in Arkansas. And then I looked.
How often does this go on?
Well, It's again, this is the number one threat, and again to say,
and that's not terrorism, by the way. That's murder.
Yes, but it is now being cited, as per the document, as the number one domestic extremist terrorist threat. Here is some examples. Actually, here's an explanation from the Southern Poverty Law Center from some guy who they hired, some retired guy.
The Bloods and the Crips weren't listed, although there's new gangs now, or the Hoovers,
No, sovereign citizens, which is.
No, I'm just saying. How come they're not on the list? I didn't hear one Mexican gang.
No. Sovereign citizens. You, citizen, is the way I see it. Here's an explanation.
The following are some indicators that you as an officer need to be aware of to protect yourself. They are signs that the person you've encountered considers himself to be a sovereign citizen who is immune from the law. The first thing that any officer notices at a traffic stop is the vehicle's license plate. If you try to call in many sovereign plates, you'll find no record of them, and for good reason. They're either homemade or professionally produced fakes. They may display the names of strange nations, embassies, or tribes. They may refer to the Uniform Commercial Code or the Constitution. Bumper stickers are another easily visible sign of sovereign beliefs. One that reads Posse Comitatus, which is Latin for power or force of the county, means the driver believes county officials, such as sheriffs, are the highest level of law enforcement, and that the federal government and its officers don't have any legal authority.
We've talked about that before, right?
Yeah.
And how do you view that?
Oh, it's one of these things. I've read all the debates one way or the other. And these guys are kind of, I know this type of personality.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think that taxes, this is the personality in a nutshell. The IRS is a voluntary thing. You volunteer to pay the taxes. You don't have to pay the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't pay taxes.
And usually they say because it was not ratified and therefore not
there's
legal.
always something.
Yeah.
Stickers such as I am an American national or not subject to corporate federal or corporate state jurisdiction are signs that the vehicle's occupants are part of the radical anti-government movement. When asked for their driver's license,
that's radical. Just by having a bumper sticker, you're radical now.
Vehicle registration or other identification, sovereigns may show documents that at first might look legitimate, but after a closer inspection are obviously fake. The fake driver's license could have the words without prejudice, UCC 1-207, a reference to the Uniform Commercial Code. What might look like a real Social Security card to you may actually read Social Security, Socialism in America, still 100% voluntary, for global domination and slavery, not for identification.
None of this says these guys are crazy and going to shoot you, but the UCC, the Universal Commercial Code, I've read through all of this, and I put a link in the show notes. You can make up your own mind about it. But the main thing that the sovereign citizens do, and I might consider doing this myself, is whenever you sign, it's just a legal thing. It's a disclaimer that I believe is okay.
Hey, let's back up a second. We're talking about, you've just said, I'm thinking of doing this myself.
Yeah, of what I'm about to say.
Yeah, okay. I just want to prepare people.
Yes. Yes. I'm thinking of doing this myself when signing a contract.
Yeah.
If you sign it with the words without prejudice, which I've seen on contracts.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I've seen it in lots of contracts.
I've never seen it.
Oh. Without prejudice means that you reserve the right to not agree to things you did not understand when signing the document.
Oh.
And that is part of the Universal Code 1-2.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, 1-207.4. And if you look at it, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. You reserve your rights. I've seen this in contracts. I've seen it in settlement documents. Hello, MTV. This is where I know about it. It's definitely worth looking into.
What good at the, and I'm going to say it, and you're going to get ready for it. What good at the end of the day will this do you?
That you can't get duped into something if you signed it and didn't understand what you were signing. Or if you just didn't understand it. Sometimes contracts are complicated. If you say without prejudice, it means everything I understood. It's a waiver. It's a disclaimer. Now, someone may not accept you doing that, but you should get in the habit of doing that. I think I should do the same. And I'll give you one last blast here of what these crazy sovereign citizens are all about.
Aimed at the federal government and law enforcement, the bombing in Oklahoma City was the horrific symbol of the wave of anti-government sentiment.
So now they're taking it back to Timothy McVeigh was apparently a sovereign citizen. I've never heard him say...
That wasn't brought up at the moment.
Ever.
Across the country in the 1990s.
It's a good one, though. He's dead.
Huh?
He's dead, so let's say whatever we want.
Oh, more dead people.
Communists.
More dead people.
ATF Special Agent in Charge, James Kavanaugh. I spent more than 30 years with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and I was there at the beginning of the so-called Patriot movement. I watched in 1992 as the standoff between law enforcement and a white separatist, Randy Weaver, in Ruby Ridge, Idaho.
So Randy Weaver...
Oh, the Randy Weaver whose his wife and kid and the dog were all murdered?
Oh, yeah.
No charges were ever filed? That went Randy Weaver?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was a sovereign citizen.
No, he wasn't.
Weaver in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, ended with the deaths of a federal marshal and Weaver's wife and son. I was there in the shootout the next year when David Koresh and more than 70 of his followers...
Yeah, I think they all burned to death because...
by the government?
You guys burned them to death?
Along with 4 ATF agents.
He wasn't a sovereign citizen. It was a religious cult.
This is what I'm telling you. This is what is so
lies.
crazy.
These are lies.
Thank you. They've got $600 million, these liars.
Died in a fiery siege near Waco, Texas. What we didn't understand at first was that these events were a catalyst for the growth of a radical anti-government movement, a catalyst for the birth of armed militias. At its height, there were more than 800 of these anti-government groups.
So what he's saying is because of these cases, because of this, the sovereign citizen movement started. That's what's being said.
Throughout the country. Some were part of what is called the sovereign citizen movement. They believe the government has no right to tax or impose laws on them. Following law enforcement crackdowns after Oklahoma City, many anti-government groups disappeared. But the threat from hardcore elements of the radical right continued to simmer. In fact, between the Oklahoma City bombing and the recent West Memphis shootings, approximately 30 law enforcement officers lost their lives to homegrown extremists.
There you go. Homegrown extremists, the number one thing the cops are most worried about. And you mentioned communism there. Then it was interesting to me. I could not find an audio copy, maybe it didn't exist then, of Senator Joseph McCarthy when he did the famous Memphis speech and said that there are enemies within who are trying to overthrow us. And there's lots of a video of the hearings in the Senate where he was outing people and calling them communists, and was this guy a very dark mark on American history. But this could happen again because now you have the number, for some reason, these guys are the most dangerous, although we heard it appears to be Black Lives Matter people who are killing the cops. That's kind of pushed over to the side. No, let's make it sovereign citizens. Now, if I have a bumper sticker that says Posse Comitatus,
yeah, you're doomed.
Or if I sign my signature under a document like a parking ticket without prejudice, there's a very, very fine line between calling someone a homegrown extremist terrorist who might be one, but just grabbing someone because, whatever. And when were the McCarthy hearings? This was 50s?
We had a borderline situation during the last election where this was about to happen, what you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
The McCarthy era is in 1956.
Yeah.
Probably 53.
And at the time, it was the biggest event on television.
Yeah, it was entertaining. But it's back to what was happening in the last election. Where if you had a Rand Paul bumper sticker, or not Rand.
Exactly. Or if you carried around a copy of the Constitution.
Right, because it was listed. You were a terrorist if you carried around the copy of the Constitution, or you had or you had Ron Paul bumper stickers.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's already happened.
But now they
don't know what to do with
but now cops are dying, you see. And then instead of blaming it on something that may be just racial tensions or trumped up racial tensions, it's going to be blamed on the most scary group to law enforcement is the sovereign citizens. Now, I find this to be abhorrent and very, very dangerous.
Well, yes.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what to say.
No, there's not much you can say.
It's an interesting report.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I try hard.
Well, may not bode well.
Then the only thing I'd have one thing left. If you got something to play us out, we had a big birthday list, so I want to make sure we do.
I have I have a couple of things. I have a 1-2 punch to play us out. They're both a little long, but they're interesting because we have not really talked about Trump. So I thought I'd finish. With
we're at 3 hours now, right?
Yes, we're too long.
Yeah, should we stop?
We want to do 2 hours and 45 minutes.
But Trump can wait until Sunday, can't he?
I think that's a short week. I can move these to Sunday.
Okay.
But they're very interesting.
But then I have a short kicker, 25 seconds.
That's good.
Yeah, that'll be a good kicker. This is Margaret Sanger, who was I found this on the History Channel. Margaret Sanger is she headed up the Eugenics Society of America. She is the founder of Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. And she's asked a question about, just listen to her answer and you'll be able to figure it out.
You believe in sin? When I say believe, I don't mean believe in committing sin. Do you believe there is such a thing as sin?
Well, I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world that have disease from their parents, that have no chance in the world to be a human being, practically. Delinquents, prisoners, all sorts of things just marked when they're born. That, to me, is the greatest sin that people can commit.
Now, you could take this a number of ways, but what I heard her say is kids who are destined to be delinquents and, jailbait anyway, we might as well...
AKA black.
Black, yes. Get rid of them. That's the biggest sin. That is the genesis of Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just good to play.
It's the underlying racism that is part of the liberal philosophy.
It's beautiful.
And it's universal.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, you run into these people that are the most liberal that you've ever run into, and they would never, ever want to have a black person as a neighbor.
No.
Just the way it is.
I know. Okay, well, I'm going to be celebrating my birthday. By
we have champagne, a great Bordeaux, Lafite.
Yeah, no, Lafite. I got smelly feet, is what I got. I don't know about what you're talking about. No, I'll be head over down to the coast.
You gonna do that tonight?
Tomorrow. Leave tomorrow. Oh. No, I'm too tired. Leave tomorrow.
Gonna have a big dinner tonight? Big dinner with some champagne?
Yes, I'm having dinner with Tim and Kim, the former New York banker and his wife. And Tina.
That's always educational.
Yeah, we'll find something out for sure.
What was his last thing that he was predicting that didn't happen? It'll be interesting to see what he predicts.
I'll see what he predicts.
Not going to happen.
Exactly. Coming to you.
It won't happen, whatever it is.
Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here, the Capital Drone Star State in the Crackpot Condo. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I await the climate change refugees, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll talk to you again on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
Hey, listen. No. You're in my house. Hey, hey, come on, guys. No. Shame on you. Hey, okay. No. I'm up in the house. Hey, in the booth. No.
Yeah, no.
What's gonna croak him?
Donate to a No Agenda. They give us shows week after week. Donate to a No Agenda. It's a show that's really unique. Donate to a No Agenda. Listen to John and Adam speak. Donate to a No Agenda. Science is turning into a clique.
And wash your hands after touching any raw meat.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
The best podcast in the universe.
Amen. Fist bump.
Dvorak.org/NA.